This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Barrett, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Hi, this is Devin Grayson, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Come on, Phil, you don't have a Patty Jenkins drop?
No, get me one. Anyway, welcome back to the Capes and Lunatics, another movie review. It's been forever since we did Austin Powers, but that one just dropped a few days ago. So, hey, time for another movie review. Wonder Woman.
Comic book movie review.
What? I didn't hear you smart ass. Anyway, welcome back. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, the stash from New Jersey, the apologist. It is
Charlie, the Professor Esser, the guy who liked this film.
She's finally back from Florida. She who doesn't give to, what? It is.
Hey, y'all. It's Lil Velvet.
All right. And we have our movie panel back, everyone. We've got...
we have a newcomer. Don't forget.
Well, it's been a while. He used to review movies with us. But yes, you can hear him every Friday with Charlie Esser on Full Stream Ahead. Mr. Moz Mansour, welcome back.
Hey, good to you.
My skinny rich friend. And you can see how handsome he is now. You can see now. You thought I was joking? No, the man is beautiful.
And the Wonder Women themselves from Alaska, Diane and Marnell.
Hey.
Hello. I'm with my wife, so.
And from the UK, we got Jamie.
Sir Jedi Jamie, reporting for duty, sir.
And of course, last but not least, from, Milan, Italy?
Correct.
DJ Nick. Yeah. Welcome back, Nick.
Ooh. Hey, it's great to be back here, everybody.
All right. So we all agreed, most of us when we were here before we started, that we'll let the people who like this movie get their thoughts out before we shoot holes in it.
So that's me. Okay. So let me start off with just this basic statement. The original Wonder Woman had a lot of flaws. It was a very dramatic and exciting film, but it had a lot of flaws. This is another very dramatic and exciting film with a lot of flaws. I actually think they tried to answer the flaws in very unique ways. One of the things that first off jumps out to me is that I felt, we never got a montage to show her relationship with Etta. But I realized that's just my fanfic. And
you got one picture in the beginning,
Yeah, well, exactly. But that's an important picture. It's an important picture because that picture is a color photograph. Color photography was not popularized until the 1960s. So we're looking at a picture that was taken some 40 years after the events of the last film. And I think that's the thing that is jarring to people with this, is that so much of the story went unspoken. Because this is a film that is taking place literally a generation after the last film, which means that every person that Diana has known has died. And I think one thing that I think people often overlook is that Diana is an immortal. And when you think about being an immortal, the idea that you have a relationship, that is a lifelong relationship. So if you were an Amazon and you met another Amazon and you decided to be best friends forever, that means literally forever until one of you gets accidentally shot by a Nazi. When you look at the pictures that they show, we see that she had an entire life with these people. You see them freeing concentration camp prisoners in World War II. You see them getting married and having lives. You see all these things, and then her last friend probably died sometime in the 60s or 70s. So when people say, why is she so withdrawn? Why is she so hung up on Steve Trevor? It's because Steve Trevor was the guy she fell in love with. And as an Amazon, you mate for life. you have this relationship forever, and then to have it taken from you almost immediately, it's very disconcerting. Then everything that you had to tie yourself to the human world also has now died. And as I said, when you think about Etta Candy, that's like the first human being that she ever had die. Prior to Etta, it's like when Amazons die in battle, well, it's glorious battle and we've died. Or when people in fighting wars die from wars, they die. But when someone just ages and dies, that is heartrending. Especially if you are an immortal and you know, oh, if I ever make a connection like this again, if I ever meet someone who can be another Etta Candy, if I meet someone who can be another Steve Trevor, I just get to watch him die slowly.
Can I just jump in here?
Sure.
Highlander did it better.
Yeah, but again, in Highlander, you actually have a fight. You actually have a framing device that says, "Oh, but there can only be one," and yada yada. And so you have an ongoing war distraction. That's the thing.
I mean, with Connor McLeod and his wife Heather, you know, that time they have together with a beautiful song from the 80s.
Yeah,
a beautiful song all the way through, and then you know, and you saw her age, and then a bit further on in the film, it reflects back on his life and how he's been on his own for so long. You know what I mean? They did it better. They did it better.
No, or did they? That's the thing. Did they do it better, or did they do so? And this is the thing. Connor McLeod was born a human. Connor McLeod is living a human life. Diana was born an Amazon and lived arguably thousands of years as that 15-year-old girl we see at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you think about that for a minute, that how slow has she aged? How long has she been alive? How long will she still be alive later? Connor McLeod, as far as he knows, he's just a normal human being who maybe someday will get his head chopped off.
Okay.
That is the extent of his life. Diana is thinking, I'm going to live forever, and every human being I know is going to die. And when she gives up her powers to have a human relationship again, it is telling, because that is the thing. It's like, I would like a real human relationship. And the cost is I don't get to be immortal anymore. And wouldn't that be wonderful? Yes, please go.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to point out that the DC apologist is wearing a Marvel t-shirt.
Thank you.
I am wearing my Wonder Woman earrings and my Wonder Woman t-shirt. Thank you very much. But I'm going to tell you, Charlie, I was not jarred by the fact that, 70 years had passed. I was not jarred by the fact that we didn't have all of those characters. I was jarred because it was a steaming pile of dung, and it was meant to be good.
But that's the thing. You can only call it a steaming pile of dung if you know why it's a steaming pile of dung. If you're just saying, oh, I didn't like it because it didn't answer my questions.
I didn't have any question.
For me, how can you come into this person's life 70 years later and not have a million questions?
All right.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. I had no questions. I just watched this for the second time. I liked the general idea. I thought the idea of this movie was good, but some of the there's plot holes all over the place.
Execution.
Yes, the first one had
was lacking. Like the biggest plot device I saw, Steve Trevor should not have been in this movie as it was written.
Thank you.
Literally every wish Barbara, Max Lord, everybody in the world who made a wish had to vocalize their wish. Not once did Diana say, "Oh, I want Steve back." She may have been thinking it when she was holding the stone, but she never came out and said
it. Didn't say you had to vocalize it. It just said you had to wish it.
Well, why, when Max was granting wishes and stuff, did he tell them, "Oh, you have to say it. You have to"?
Because when Max is doing it, he needs to make sure they're making the wish and making the wish he wants them to make. That's the thing. He is a con artist, so he's manipulating the situation so that they are saying what they want.
Yeah, but Barbara had to vocalize it when she made her first wish when it was just a stone.
So did the son.
She did vocalize it. Just because you do it doesn't mean you have to. It's like any other magical thing.
Again, do you only get one wish, or do you get or can you get multiple wishes?
And again, they literally address it in the film when he says, "I'm feeling generous." And he intentionally gives her another wish.
I get that, but when he's using his own people to make wishes for him, he he's like, oh, did you already make a wish? Yes. And the guy's like, oh yeah, yesterday or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and the son, he told his son not to waste
Don't
his one
waste your
wish.
wish. Yeah.
And to be fair, Barbara didn't make a wish with him. Barbara made a wish with the stone. So it could be a new genie, new owner, new lamp situation where, yes, I did my 3 wishes, but now it's a new genie and new lamp. I get 3 more wishes.
New form, who dis?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. As much
You
as
know.
like his being, his humanness was hampered by the presence of the stone as part of his being. The presence of his presence in the stone probably affected how the stone works as well. Now the stone has to coexist as being part of a stone and human. So in human terms, maybe for him, he needed to verbally hear it so that his being could relent to the wish being granted.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
Going
Thank
back
you,
to your going back to your points, Steve Trevor was a ham-fisted attempt of bringing back a character we did not need. We did not need Steve Trevor in this movie.
Unless you're setting up something deeper.
But Steve Trevor was better in this movie than he was in the last one.
Yes.
Really? I didn't think so.
I was more. I thought he was more of a better character in this one than the last one. And I was thinking, God, is this ST 84 instead of WW 84?
Now, I did write down in my notes that Steve was one of the only people to have humanity in this movie. I mean, how sad is it that the homeless guy and the dead guy are the ones with the humanity?
Right. And also, I don't know if it's, bearing in mind, this is supposed to be in 1984. Yeah. Every single male are a piece of crap in this, right? Apart from Steve Trevor.
I'm going to totally give you that.
Yes, that is accurate.
That was not
very
okay.
accurate.
Yeah.
But it was very
and
accurate.
they've deliberately, and they shouldn't have done it like that. You're going to go down the route of a 1980, as in, because everyone's quoting to Superman. Oh, this is just like Superman. No, it's not. It's nothing like Superman. I mean, Superman was good. This is not that good, right? No. But to be fair to Charlie, I'll tell you the bits I liked. No, on the beginning bits with all the intros coming up, did you notice all the lettering was in 80s style bad VHS? I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I liked the mall. I liked the opening at the mall. It was fun.
really
It was
good,
bright. It
right?
was 80s.
But
They
then
captured
you-
it really well.
Then you have to wait an hour before she's back in that. And then her powers, bearing in mind, her powers are slowly going. She can trip her truck up, but she can't hold on to her loose. And right? And then she needs Steve to save her to push her truck away. What?
And not to mention, this movie is called Wonder Woman, and we barely get to see the protagonist. It's almost all about Maxwell
Unlike
Lord,
Batman
pretty
and
much.
Superman, Diana and Wonder Woman are the same person. So no matter what you're looking, you didn't get to see her in costume, but she is always in Wonder Woman mode.
Yeah, that didn't bug me much, but it's like she wants to stay a secret from the world. But that mall rescue, which was, I could see her stepping in, but she puts on the outfit for a big flashy rescue, though.
Well, what she
It's the 80s. Everybody's doing cocaine. Nobody will remember.
Hold on. In the mall, she arrested all the males, but let the 2 girls who nicked stuff go free. Right?
Yeah.
Remember that one as well.
Lilith, I'm going to tell you what my friend.
Shame a woman who shoplifts. She'll stop. You get them young enough. That's all you got to do. They'll stop.
I'm going to tell you what my friend Dorothea said about this movie because we're veterans of the 80s. She said, and I quote, "And yet, wasn't that the 80s? Good, kind of dragged a bit, and we all deserved better."
But here's the thing. And again, when we think about the go-go 80s and we think about that, Reaganomics, imperialistic city on the hill, everyone can just have whatever people can grow in this world. And if we take away a social safety net, well, then you just gotta. And, Daddy Warbucks would be proud of that kind of a worldview. At the same time, that is the point. I mean, one of the things that I think gets a real negative aspect on this is the fact that, the idea is, because this is the Dream Stone, what is being given to you is a dream.
It's actually not the Dream Stone, though. It's
Which
actually
Infinity
Chaos
Stone is
Crystal.
this?
Monkey's paw.
They called it the Dream Stone for Sandman recognition. Same reason why they did the Golden Eagle armor. Hey guys, remember Kingdom Come? Remember that thing everybody liked? But it's in the way that it works, it's actually the Chaos Crystal.
That's the other thing.
That out there.
That armor.
Fair enough.
A big thing, and she used that for 5 minutes?
And it looked great in the box and horrible on her.
Well,
Yeah.
I said that it probably wasn't going to work the first time I saw the trailer.
But yeah,
I knew that wasn't going to work. And I said that.
No, that's right. It was a giant Easter egg, is what it was.
It looked better than I thought it would, and I'm glad they used it.
I saw leggings. I saw
minimally.
It was a gold lame suit.
It was
it
good
was
on the
80s.
posters. That's it.
It
Good on the
was-
posters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a variant cover, is what it
It's
is.
better on the really crappy Christmas ornament I bought for my tree.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, that's what it was made to be.
No,
It's made to be.
uniform is
That
the
is your
Funko Pop,
Diana
boy.
Prince tree topper. Get yours, QVC $19.99 right now.
Does it light up?
Probably.
If I may, here's the problem I had with the movie. First of all, it just seemed too ridiculous a thing that, are we really talking about genies and 3 wishes? I came to watch like a Marvel level supposedly movie. Maybe DC's finally going to get it right. Wonder Woman 1 was awesome. We're going to get something great. And all of a sudden we're talking about genies and wishes.
Well,
And
yeah,
to me,
Deals in magic.
if I may,
This is for comic book people, not like people that just. No offense. That
Hold on.
only know
I mean,
the
like,
MCU.
the real world.
Can
Can I make a point? Can I get to the end of a point?
Go ahead.
So, Aladdin already did this, right? Jafar wanted to become the genie, and then he couldn't deal with the shackles. So, but that movie was infinitely better, and that dynamic was handled infinitely better. It was so absolutely silly, and that anybody could grant any wish became such a ridiculous concept that nothing really mattered, nothing really meant anything. So none of the consequences I cared about. I didn't really think any of it mattered at all because anything was possible. And then to have the resolution of that thing be just as easy to do, they didn't have to work for it at all. They failed and failed and failed and failed to the end, and then they didn't need to do any of it. Everybody just needed to take their wish back. And okay, if you can just take your wish back, how did that never occur to anybody else? The dude that got his oil taken didn't go, oh no, take backsies. That didn't occur to him. The dude over there going, hey, I got a bunch of cows on a city street. That's not where I wanted my farm. Can I have my wish back? It never occurred to anybody.
Okay, but Maz, you have to remember, they're in the dream.
And
so when it's like, can you wake up when you're dreaming?
Like the oil guy, he's a greedy guy. Maybe he's not used to, just wanting
And I don't feel like they did a good job making it the dream. I didn't see that at all. So
They didn't. Okay, you have to be. Like I said, this is a great film if you're willing to write it yourself. This is an IKEA couch. This is an IKEA bookshelf of a film.
Hey,
which
I didn't get
works if you put
I
it
didn't get
together.
into this at all. So I'm not writing none of your movie. Write the movie so I can watch it because I'm paying to see it.
Listen,
Dan,
the movie itself.
Dan, have you got a ghost in your house? Your door's just open by itself.
Oh, I have dogs, but yes, they're kind of ghosts too.
Wow, they can open doors.
Damn, I should have gone with the ghost answer.
But here's what I'll say about the there is this thing, and again, you have to approach the film with an understanding of what the filmmaker's trying to do, which is not easy.
That's the filmmaker's job to tell me what he's trying to do.
I am with Maz 100%.
I was talking about the ending. Like, I get what they were going for. Like, Diana was trying to talk everyone down. But, I mean, millions of people are making wishes. I mean, look at 2020. And just to pick, you're going to get the entire world to agree to something.
When Diana is talking about when
something.
Diana is explaining the stone to Steve, she says, it's like my lasso. The lasso isn't powered by me. It's powered by the truth. The truth is something bigger than everything. It is the lasso of truth. Just in the same way that this is the stone of dreams. So yes, and Lilith, yes, okay, we'll say it's the chaos crystal or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it is this idea of something that is larger than humanity and puts people into a state where they can't see the truth. The point of the final scene is she is using the crazy laser shooting down instead of up to end the film, to show everyone in the world the truth. So now everyone sees the truth, everyone knows what they have to do, and everyone does. Fun fact here, I just realized this recently today. Barbara renounces her second wish, technically, doesn't necessarily resound to her first wish. She may still have superpowers, and in Wonder Woman 3...
In that case, then it wouldn't work. It would not work.
Absolutely it would. It was
Right.
a wish made before the
Did we actually see her say, I renounce my wish?
No. But if Pedro Pascal
Perhaps she thought
renounces
it.
his wish, all the other wishes go away because
No, because your wish came
because he was the Dreamstone, right?
But
if he never becomes the Dreamstone, all those wishes have to be negated as well. So nothing meant anything.
No,
but I think the point that Charlie's making, and I actually will defend Charlie on this one, is that her first wish was made before Max became the Dreamstone.
And what I want to get to is this means that in the next time we can see her in a fun fur outfit like Cheetah should be, not a person walking around naked all the time with her butt in the air.
Okay, so can I just tell you that costume was dreadful.
That's
Dreadful.
all I want to know. Is she a Jellicle?
No more Jellicles.
Oh man, to have Kirsty Wig back in it again.
She was distracting, totally distracting. It was horrible.
Do you know? I don't love Kristen Wiig on her own. She needs a Bill Hader. She needs a Tina Fey. She needs that other lady from SNL that she's with. Not good on her own.
I totally watched her Lilith, and I was like, oh god, it's the SNL lady acting like the SNL lady.
That's a fine line. That's the problem with DC actors.
I love Kristen Wiig. She's done a lot of stuff that's really good. She wasn't terribly good here, but yeah, I've got to blame a lot of that on what she had to work with, the directions they told her to take.
I agree with you, Mark.
She's this terrible role, and he tore it up. And maybe he was the only saving grace of this movie was how ridiculous and funny that whole performance was. But
no, sorry, who I missed that. Who did you say? Yeah, I agree. I mean, if anybody had to be over the top, he was totally worth it.
He was great. See, that's the thing. And,
smoking something.
And this was the 80s, man. This is what I'm trying to say.
Character, a guy with weird hair telling you, "Hey, vote for me."
You're seeing what you want to see. Don't put your political leanings on this movie. That's what I saw a lot of. I'm like, really weird.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up in the 80s, but y'all tripping on that one.
See, and I saw Tony Robbins. I saw Tony Robbins. I saw Tony Robbins. A lot of people said Trump, but I'm like,
there you go. That's better.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the big hands.
Like I saw the guy who was like, "You can have the life you want."
I saw the ShamWow guy.
It's the same lineage. It's the same lineage, Maz. That's the thing. It's like for people that weren't an adult, or not an adult, but like a person aware in 1984. You know, I know Lilith was probably like at most a newborn in 1984.
Lilith was born in 84.
Yeah, not even. I was like,
she was just a twinkle in her mother's eye in 1984. But
my hairline tells you I was born.
But you're over in Australia. You don't know what it was like in America.
That's not right.
Oh no. Obviously,
Australia.
Yeah.
Australia, Jamie.
Oh, your accents sound alike.
Bloody hell, mate. What are you talking about?
I can't tell a New Zealand accent from an Australian accent from a Tasmanian accent. So if I have offended, I apologize.
All I can say is us Yanks took a perfectly good accent and ruined it. So there you go, Jamie.
Yeah. All right.
But if I may, Phil, when it comes to Barbara character, how many times have we seen that trope of I am nerdy, nobody wants me, etc. Boom, I become amazing, sexy, etc. The Riddler did it. Catwoman did it. I mean, it's a tired.
Look, watch. My glasses come off, and I'm the hot girl.
Can we talk about
my
that?
thought is either. Is it? I know. So my wonder was either it's a nod to the 80s trope, or it's simply that we don't have anything better to do. We'll make her clumsy and nerdy, and then we'll make her hot and sexy.
I'm going to go with the second one.
I think it's very much meant to be an 80s trope.
Not just 80s. Like, I was lied to. I was told when I got LASIK that Freddie Prinze Jr. was going to come and sweep me off my feet.
It's okay. I'm here right now. You don't need Freddie.
I don't need Freddie Prinze Jr. I have Lilith. We'll be very happy together.
You made TJ, Nick, because it's like the 80s were popular for like what was it, Pretty in Pink. They build up the love story with her and Ducky, and then she ends up with the rich guy.
Right.
Because it wasn't Robert Downey Jr.
What was that dude's name?
Robert Downey Jr. Would have ended up with that.
Blaine.
Like,
Yeah.
no. In this movie,
Dead right.
The jerk in the office who doesn't like her, who ignores her.
He was
Kevin,
only
whatever.
credited as Hawkeye or something.
Hawkeye,
Hot-
right.
Yeah.
That's not the guy who
He's
doesn't
the
like her.
guy.
That's
And
not
then-
the guy who doesn't like her. No.
No,
You're
Hawkeye was
confusing
the guy who Steve Trevor
he's the
inhabited.
guy.
No. I'm
That
talking
is-
about the guy in the office who was like ignoring her as you walk by first, and then she became hot. So like they're telling us he's a jerk first, and then they're making him the measure of like how well she's doing.
Well,
You know what I
she
mean? It's like his
doesn't accept it.
affections
So-
are.
Well, everyone's
Yeah,
ignoring
it's
her.
showing his superficiality, not hers.
But going back to the argument that men were not fairly portrayed in this movie, I mean, really, all of the men were douchebags.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't see what the complaint is about that. See, to
Well,
me,
because there actually are some decent men, and that's
There
coming from a
are,
woman in the
but-
middle of a
got
divorce.
Steve.
So,
And he got Steve, so deal with it.
I know, but what I'm
That's
saying
what they're
is,
saying.
what I'm saying is, I am not offended as a man. I'm not offended by them saying, you know what, a lot of guys are real jerks, especially in 1984.
Charlie,
I will say that I was conditioned as a young man in 1984 to think jerky ways about things. And think, oh, well, that's, it's what's the old say anything. Hey, if you stalk the girl, she'll fall in love with you.
wow, those were so not the dudes I was hanging out with in 1984.
I know, but that is the media of 1984. That is the world of that. I think that this is maybe meant to be a criticism of.
I'll tell you what 1984 was like.
Steve
1984 was like going to the cinema, coming out, going, "Do you know that was a really good a film?" And then some big lad coming over and kicking you in the nuts and saying, "Nerd!"
To its credit, Captain Marvel did exactly the same thing, and that's why it got a lot of hate. Was in Captain Marvel, all the guys were douchebags, and this is they're doing exactly the same thing because you're trying. And I'm saying this as a fervent feminist. I'm a fervent feminist, but this is not how you make a feminist movie.
I agree.
Well, okay, and so I want to make the point about the jerky guys in the 80s. Steve Trevor grew up in a time before women had the right to vote, and he was still a gentleman.
He was a farm
Yes,
boy.
this
Farm
is true.
boys in the
This is
DCU
true.
are just the best.
yes,
Does
but
that mean he was a good person, or does that mean they chose not to represent men properly from that era?
Yeah. Well,
What was that, Phil?
I said the whole thing with Steve, is that because he was in the afterlife in heaven or whatever you want to call
No,
it?
he was a farm boy.
it was
farm boy equals great.
It's sort of like why you can't really make Captain America be a racist, even though he grew up in segregationist times, because that would defeat the purpose of having him be Captain America.
Yeah, I know, but I can do this.
He has to actually be a really great, iconic character.
You know what's interesting about that is like thinking 30 years in the future. What are things that we're thinking now that are horribly abhorrent to people then? Does Captain America have the wherewithal to think those things are abhorrent now?
If we're going to assume
someone should write that story.
Plot armor.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we don't know what that's going to be yet.
Right. So then, what is right or wrong?
Well, no, but here's what I'm going to say: if you
I
write
suppose the
Captain
construct.
America 30 years from now, it's going to be he's going to. Yes, I was always this cool of a guy.
I just pretended not to be.
Hey,
it's comic books. This isn't a real person we're talking about.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey, we're
they'll be who we say they will be, and that's all they have to be.
Well, we're just looking at this because we're a lot more involved now in 2020. But let's let some of these broads get their thoughts in, okay?
Well, I gave it a 2.32 past due notices out of 5, and I will say Steve Trevor is right. It was not very comfortable and a little bit backwards, just like the futon.
Good callback. Good callback.
Is everyone parachuting?
So, so I'm not giving it a rating because I wanted to like this movie so much, but I disliked it so much that I don't want to harp on the fact that I didn't like it. But I will just parrot something that Steve Trevor said in the beginning of his is cheese on demand.
It's easiest.
Okay.
All right. You
I
know
think
what?
that was crazy. This is way better than the first movie. I hated the first movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at Aquaman and I'm like, who did they screw up more? Did they screw up Aquaman more or did they screw up Wonder Woman?
Don't worry about Aquaman.
I'm having a hard time choosing who they screwed up more.
Okay movie.
Aquaman was a great movie, except for the character of Aquaman.
Right.
Like DC films.
And the
CGI.
And the Black Power Ranger they got to play the villain.
Freaking Ocean Master movie.
But isn't
Thanks,
that
Mouse.
the core
Yeah.
of
Power
DC
Ranger. Yeah.
films?
100%.
Isn't that the core of DC films? That they have these iconic blank characters, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. They're not really, they don't have a lot of depth behind the costume. What makes them good is the world that you build around them. Batman isn't cool except for Gotham. Superman isn't cool except for Metropolis and Luthor. Diana isn't necessarily cool except for the world that she inhabits and the people who are her supporting cast. I mean, she's cool objectively as, oh, wow, she's a superhero with all these powers. That's great. But the fact of the matter is that all these superheroes in the DC universe are icons. They are the Trinity. They're called the Trinity for a reason. They're mysterious and unknowable and perfect, and you can't tell that story.
Snyder gets a hold of them. Hey-oh! Boom!
This, you know, when they say about this film being very close to the original Superman, when I went to see Superman, it had all the aspects of being a superhero film. It had the emotional punch of when he lost his dad that made me cry when I was that age, my mum being an age, and every time I still see it, you know, gives you that choking feeling, you know, and the whole hero's journey in that film is phenomenal. This film, that a lot of people are going, oh, it's just like Superman. No, it's not. There's not one point in this film where you'd go, do you know what? Oh, poor Steve.
No, he loses his powers. Spider-Man 2 loses his powers. It's very much in that vein. It's not Superman. It's Superman 2, and I don't mean the Donner cut, which is the best cut.
Yeah, but saying that though, right? With Spider-Man 2, he lost his powers, yeah, and then he was walking on the street. Diane loses her powers, and it's like, well, can I still do this? Let's give it a try. Yeah, I can still do this. Oh yeah, back up.
I can't rip the lock off of a storage unit, but I can turn an entire jet invisible.
Yeah, yeah. Bear in mind, when she was at a height of her powers, she could do a coffee cup, and when she's got a very little power, she could do a whole jet, a jet that can fly over 6,000 miles. Can I just say that?
Okay.
And it can transport
And in the
instantaneously.
film, she's in a Bronze Age boat that can travel at 500 miles an hour by random wind currents. So don't call logistics today when there was logistics in the first one. Okay, you are not allowed to criticize logistics if you like the first film, because the first one has awful logistics. It would have taken them months to get from Thamatrace to England. So that's just ridiculous.
Hold on, go on, Mouse.
Mascara!
Mascara!
Get it right!
But all those things were overshadowed by a well-told story, so you didn't care as much.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't buoyed by a good story, I had all the time in the world to nitpick and notice all these things that I shouldn't have been noticing.
Okay.
Behind the curtain, and I could see the puppeteers.
I just have 4 words for you guys. Release the
No.
Jenkins cut?
No.
I saw a different movie than you guys. I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm being really serious.
But the film, even the film notices it, because Barbara says, oh, that were quick. When she says, oh, we'll see you tomorrow. And then she's suddenly there and she goes, oh, you were quick. And she goes, yeah. And she didn't even explain it because she knows it was dumb.
I won't even get into the speeds of the plane and how they didn't have to refuel. I've never been to DC, so the Smithsonian keeps fully fueled planes outside on their own private runway.
Apparently in this universe they do. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing you have to accept. Is like at a certain point,
Earth 1, okay?
You can't say, oh, that couldn't happen because of this, and this. It's like, except it did happen. So obviously, the world is different. It's sort of like anytime you want to
totally had a passport too. I'm just saying.
I do want to go back. I want to go back to what Jamie said just a few minutes ago, though, because I think this is really important. Beat for beat, Superman was nearly a perfect movie, and it's heartbreaking that this film that's set in the same time that should be beat for beat A great
Superman
film.
flies around the
Superman,
world
but it's not a
backward
perfect movie.
to
I know
go
you said
back
I
in
watched it
time
go after
to
you
save
guys.
his girlfriend.
Yeah, but if you look at that
no,
scene, right,
but
Charlie, right,
he
if you look
flies
at that scene,
backwards.
right, yeah, but if you look at the way that scene is wrote, yeah, he lands, he noticed that Lois Lane is dead, yeah, and then you can see how the camera is panning from here to there, to there, to there, and then the camera slowly pulls up and you can see his anger slowly building until he flies off, and then you see his dad telling him, don't do it, and he defies it and goes.
Yeah.
You're telling me that's not emotion? That's not power?
I mean, it's
That's
emotional,
fantastic story
sure.
writing.
I mean, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's cheap, lazy story writing. It's get out of your dead girlfriend
I
free
agree with
card.
Charlie on that one, and I love
Speaking of lazy story writing, what is with Wonder Woman suddenly being able to fly? I know it's in the comics now, but when
love
did
for
she
Steve
learn to
Trevor.
fly?
She was powered by
When?
love, okay?
Tell me, because
Yeah,
in
but
Justice
get
League
up,
she
she
can't
out
fly.
the way.
She's trying to
Or,
connect
or
with
she
Steve the
doesn't
only way
fly.
she
There's a
knows
difference
how.
between doesn't and can't.
I mean,
She's doing a Buzz Lightyear, isn't she? You know, falling with style.
And to add to that,
She got the jetpack from the Mandalorian.
That scene upset me so much. One, for the reasons like you can suddenly fly. Wowie. Okay, cool. When did this happen? And secondly, why in the world, Patty Jenkins, do you have to take Canon in D minor from Sunlight and put it in this movie? Why? You have Hans Bloody Zimmer, for crying out loud, who is a genius. You don't have to borrow from Mr. Murphy, who's a fantastic composer. You have Hans Zimmer. Say, Hans, write something original for this film. Why?
There's a budget, my friend.
As a DJ by profession, I pay a lot of attention to the soundtrack. The soundtrack was zero. There was nothing in the soundtrack was any good at all.
Didn't I also see that Trent Reznor worked on this soundtrack?
Yeah. Where was it?
Okay. I was just shocked.
Trent Reznor did a wonderful job on Soul, for crying out loud, and he couldn't.
Soul. That's what I was thinking. Okay, no, he didn't work on it. I watched them at the same time. Thank you.
You're thinking of.
But Hans Zimmer, as I said, why are you? I mean, you're not Quentin Tarantino, Patty Jenkins. You have a composer. Have him write some new music. Don't borrow from crappy other movies.
Yeah, it sounded a bit like rehashed, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, where have I heard this before? I was like, oh yeah, that movie that went nowhere with Chris Evans. That's right.
And I think that's a stylistic choice. I think that's a stylistic choice. You know, that's the thing. It's sort of like when you watch Stranger Things. It's got a lot of stylistic choices to set it where it's at, and that's a thing.
Yeah, but Charlie, that piece of music wasn't even written in the 80s.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Thank you. I mean, seriously, it was written in 2005.
No, sorry. Frankie Goes to Hollywood came out in October of '84, and the fireworks fully established that we are in July of '84. So
I must admit, I love that tune. When that tune kicked in, love it.
Speaking of timelines,
great.
You realize that means that there's like a 3-month jump between the end of the film and its coda.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't like around Christmas time.
Yeah, because then it's Christmas. So we go from July to Christmas.
Well, I had to go to Christmas because that guy that she raped was from a Hallmark Channel.
I'm going to assume that's what happened.
Of course she did.
I don't understand.
No, she didn't.
Yes.
Are you telling me he said, yes, use my body? No, he didn't.
I have to agree. The question of consent is very clear. There was no
100%.
consent.
No. Well, okay. Who consents? Your soul.
But it was the 80s. You didn't need it.
Okay, wait. Which Charlie and I started arguing this on Facebook the other night, and I stopped because I don't make arguments on Facebook. But you use the quantum leap laws for this.
Yeah, quantum leap.
So where was Hawkeye's body? In Quantum Leap, the bodies go to the future and they stay in a coma in the Quantum Leap lab.
No, they do not go into a coma. They're fully aware. Okay,
but where is this dude's body?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to assume
I thought
somewhere.
the implication was that it was his body. It was just
It was his consciousness that wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well, there's
I say it's his body too.
There's no way you can assess it without knowing. My own headcanon is that this is actually Steve Trevor's body that this is his reincarnated soul,
No.
and he has remembered his.
No.
No.
Then why?
No,
Then why
because he
should
looks in
Gordon
the mirror.
Hayward's life?
He looks in the mirror and sees the guy.
Yes,
And
yes,
that's
he
meant
does.
to tell
he
us
does.
that how the rest
Okay.
of the world objectively sees him, but she sees him as Trevor because
Yes,
of
because
her
that's
nostalgia.
his soul.
That's right,
She
Moss, yeah.
sees his soul, and his soul is in his body. He has remembered who he is and forgotten who he was. And there's even I'm going to give you this.
I did not
There
realize
is several
that.
again,
I did not
and remember
realize
who he
that.
was.
Okay,
and
let me give you.
back to that.
There's a couple of items in this movie where they highlighted actually twice that after the war, Diana goes to the Trevor Ranch and
She
spends
established the
time.
Trevor Ranch, actually, but
Arr.
you wouldn't know that unless you read the script. It's fine.
I'm sorry, what?
She actually, no, it's a whole thing. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, anyway, so she goes
I
to
think.
the Trevor
Do you know
Ranch.
what, Lisa? I didn't get that picture. You know, with the Trevor Ranch. I was thinking, what is that all about? That's just like the end scene of Titanic, for God's sake. You know, when she's looking at the photos, you think, oh well, yeah, she went to the fair.
84 years.
Here's my headcanon on it. There's a scene when he's looking at himself in the mirror, and he's doing the faces, and then there's one face that looks like, oh, I know who this guy is. And my headcanon is, this guy looks a heck of a lot like my brother. And then you get this idea.
Charlie, come on.
Then they should have said it.
They should have said it.
They should have said it.
Patty Jenkins took show don't tell too far and didn't show. I will say
No,
that.
no, she didn't actually really co-write this movie, guys. They forced it to as a humiliation ritual for going to Marvel. Look, listen, you can believe that or not, but that's what happened.
Okay.
You know, that makes a whole lot
I'm
more
being
sense
dead
than
ass
anything I've heard so far.
Allegedly.
But you see, Trevor does give a bit of an explanation of what he's been doing, why he's suddenly popped into existence. Never once did he say that. Would you believe it that this guy was in my time? It was in my ancestor. I'm an ancestor to him.
No.
You know the old Assassin's Creed kind of in the blood kind of thing. And I would have gone, oh yeah. But no, when the film deals with mythical objects that suddenly pop up out of the ground like walls and then nukes just appearing, this would have been way better if he just popped into being. Then when she said. When he said, I've got to go, he disappeared. The impact would have been much more.
Yes.
Not just disappear around the corner for a quick beer.
He did it anyway. You didn't need another body.
Didn't need it.
Here's the thing. Because things come into existence, we can assume that if this is his body, or if this is Steve, and he's not just magically coming into existence, not being transubstantiated into existence, that they had to use a body, that suggests his soul was busy. His soul was in that body. The fact
So where's the other guy's soul?
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Well, first off, it's the same soul. It's the
No,
same.
it's not.
But it is, and they give you the evidence of it. No, let me explain.
I'll tell you where that guy was. He was reading the fine print of Permission. That's what he was doing.
So, have any of you guys seen Avengers?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not obviously. Sorry to break
When
it
Steve
down.
Rogers is told by Tony Stark to open the panel, and Steve Rogers, well, it seems to run on some form of electricity as a joke because it's super advanced technology that Steve Rogers has never seen before. Now, granted, Steve Rogers canonically has peak human intelligence, so it makes sense why he solves it. Steve Trevor doesn't have that advantage. So when Steve Rogers is just, well, I'm in a plane, so I know how planes work. And then they make the express point to say, this guy he seems to be an engineer. Essentially,
muscle memory.
He couldn't work.
No.
It's
not about flying. It's about knowing what plane to pick, how the plane works, how the plane flies. You need to have someone.
I think it was more like being John Malkovich, where you come into somebody's mind, force him into a regressive state in the back of your mind, and he gets to just sit there like a prisoner and watch you conduct his life.
All right.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. If you want to take a negative view, that's what it is.
To be fair.
If you want to neutralize it, again, this is a Marvel shirt. I neutralize things.
All right, hold on.
I say this is what they meant to say when they did the thing.
Not at all, Charlie. Not at all. You sweet summer child.
Assuming Charlie was even right, how many did anyone else get that before Charlie said it? So even Charlie is completely right. No one else got that. So
it's a problem. They didn't tell. They should have told more and not show as much.
And there are comic book creators, because somebody posted the article who said, well, there is that whole problematic thing about that guy getting date raped by Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
so we're not the only ones who missed it.
Yeah. There was a lot of articles by comic book writers saying what's happening with this film.
Yeah,
and Jamie, to your point, you'd messaged saying that at some point, Steve comes back and he's like, "I was in a happy place," and someone's like, "I was happy where I was at. Why do you have to bring me back?"
No,
Buffy,
say that.
Buffy
He
went
doesn't say
through
that
that.
at all. But what he says is, I was someplace. It was nice, but I don't really remember it. What he's actually describing is being in his life, just unaware that it's his life. And because we get a specific call out to past lives when the Mayan guy says most of what I know. By the way, the guy who knows everything about the freaking Dreamstone says most of what I know is past life stuff.
He's a hippie.
Charlie, you are so reaching.
Right, that whole scene, that whole scene with that Aztec guy was just to fill in the plot holes.
And why did the Mayan guy have the name Babajid? Could somebody explain to me why he had a Hindu name if he was a Mayan guy?
Just late. The whole film was just really lazy writing. Really lazy writing.
What I'm saying is, maybe what it is they are establishing ideas here for a larger DC universe.
Okay, I have another Steve.
There are better
ways
to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, every other movie made it look like there's a big.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I get the feeling by the time you see Black Adam, a lot more of this film is going to make sense.
The Rock's going to save everything.
I have another.
Always saves everything.
He's on Earth 4.
I have another Steve Trevor question. So, could somebody explain to me why Steve Trevor, who was in heaven, we're assuming, for 70 years.
First off, what's a heaven when you're dealing with Greek gods? He was in the Elysian fields where you forget everything.
Why did he age and Diana Prince didn't?
That's
she's
easy.
immortal, but why did he age if he was in heaven for 70 years?
That's because when he died at that age, and when he was on that big elevator, and then Jamie Foxx pushed him off when he tried to get into his body, he fell in at the same age, and it popped up. It was like, hey, wait, wait for me.
Okay.
Sorry, Jamie Foxx. Looks like you've got the cat. That's the follow-up to Soul. Soul 2, Steve Trevor Returns.
Or he wasn't in heaven. He was living his life as the other guy, whoever that is, and that's the age that guy is. So this is the age Steve Trevor would be, having lived his entire life.
You know, that's like telling your mom like an eagle flew in through the window and knocked the plant over. And
If you
everywhere.
Hate my homework.
All I'm saying is you can headcanon it to be a good film.
Listen, all you have to do to make this movie better is drink and have fun, bro.
Right, I tell you, right. Let's just put it back into 1984 terms for Charlie. Yeah, Charlie's reaching like he's a 10-year-old, reaching up for those naughty magazines on that top shelf. That's how much reaching he's trying to do for this script. And so I applaud you, Charlie, for loving this movie and trying to convince us. But it's like
that's the problem with this movie, Charlie. I think you put in more thought and more time into this script than they did.
Entirely possible. Look, like I said, I'm going to say this. I'm a Marvel fan. I grew up on Marvel, and Marvel is about explaining away your mistakes. So if I'm going to approach this, and I approach every film like this.
What do you want, Charlie? Here's your notepad.
Yeah, I approach every film I ever watch like this. I say, okay, why did they do that? What is the answer? Can I make this make sense? And if I can make it make sense, I go, oh, well, that was actually kind of clever. And if I can't make it make sense, then I say that was a bad film.
Charlie, I understand that, but like, should my time watching this movie be spent doing calculations
and homework?
Or should it be, enjoying myself? And if it makes me do that, then guess what I'm not doing? Paying attention to the movie.
Well, but that's the thing. Is like, I guess from my perspective, that's the fun of going to a movie for me. That's the fun of reading a book for me. That's the fun of anything for me. It's just, oh well, how can I make this make sense?
See,
what is the author trying to tell me in this story? It's like, oh, okay, I can sort of see where they're going. I can sort of build. I mean, look, I'm a Marvel fan. I watch the MCU films are ridiculous.
I've seen. All right,
but you can piece them together if you want to.
I've cracked the code.
Except for Inhumans, that thing is unsalvageable.
Oh,
but everything else can be pieced together.
He likes this movie. He likes Superman 3 because
I don't like this movie. That's the funny thing about it. I just have to defend it because everyone else hates it.
Hold on, right? When I watched it,
hate it at all, but
I don't care.
Insight.
I watched it as
this movie.
I watched it as a comic book film, and if I literally took my brain, like I said to you before, if I took brain out of it and just watched it as if I was like a 5-year-old, then I totally enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. I didn't like the ending, didn't like the CG ending. It was all right, but when things happen that make you go, hold on, I don't like that. I just don't like that. It's a film that, bearing in mind, all of us went in for this film wanting something really good. We was all, bearing in mind, it's been put back a year, so you think they had enough time to just go over it a couple of times, like Ghostbusters Afterlife. Apparently, they're still going over that because it's not finished. Skyfall, they keep going back and re-editing it because they've got the time to do it. You're telling me they did not look at it and go, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of it.
2.5 hours, and it has so many plot holes. Like, you think you would be able to shoehorn in
Let's cut some of them. It's
a better story.
I'll tell you what, let's just put that rewind button to the beginning of the film, for the time when she's the little girl back in Wonder Woman land, right? Now,
what was the point?
Because it was about her cheating.
Exactly.
Yet that had nothing to do with the rest of the film.
I mean, the shortcut, which the wishes were the shortcut.
The wishes are the shortcut.
But she was the first one to go, oh, no, I'll regent it.
No, one of the reviewers said that. Oh, sorry, Maz.
I apologize. She didn't even realize she was making the wish, so it can't even really hold it against her.
Exactly.
Redemption from.
And she's a magical being who knows that gods are real, and she knows wishes are real. So you can't really say that. If anything, hers was the most honest wish.
Were we supposed to infer?
But it
wasn't. Were we supposed to infer that, like, her wishing for Steve Trevor back was the shortcut to making another human connection? Like, I don't understand the whole. You can't take shortcuts and then don't wish for Steve.
Right, she's been alive for thousands of years, and for some reason, this person she knew for like a little while has such a giant impact. She's like hundreds of years.
Because can have you out
this is the first time somebody has died.
Yes, it is. That's the point.
We don't know.
That's the point. It's like everybody else that she has known either dies in battle or has died over a long period of time.
Now.
No, but
Steve died heroically.
Don't judge her. Okay?
Thanatos is far more. And honestly, that word, that if she had said that at some point, if she had said Thanatos is crueler than Hades could ever be, that would have made this a completely different film, because then you'd understand. I think that's what they were going for. That she never got to have closure with Steve. She never got to end that story.
If Steve had aged for the next 64 years and she had watched him slowly age and die, that would have been better closure than him dying heroically in battle.
It would have been, because then she would have had closure with everyone. Because she had closure with Etta. That's the thing, is Etta died and she had closure. And again, this is my own headcanon. I would have loved if she had brought back Etta. That would have been a better story. That would have been a more interesting story. That's not what happened.
And there would have been no whole problematic consent thing.
Well, there would have been all these kinds of issues. I mean, look, they made bad choices. I'm not going to say they didn't make bad choices. Like I said, if all you guys were like, no, this is good, I'd be sitting here on your side arguing, no, here are all the problems with it. But I do feel that we need to have a counterbalancing voice saying, look, I know what you're saying, but there are things of redemption in this film. There are things that if you want to look for them, you can see how this could be. Sort of like Shazam. Shazam, unobjectively awful.
That's a great movie.
But Charlie, it's not a matter of choice. It's not a matter of choice. We're simply reporting what our experience was, and that's not something you can think through and change your mind on.
No. But I think everything is a matter of
the problems were distracting enough that I could not stay involved emotionally and consequentially to what was happening to the characters. I didn't care, and that's it's like you can think your way out of it much later, but in the moment, I didn't care.
See, and I guess for me, it's the exact opposite. In the moment, I cared. In the moment, I enjoyed it. It's only when I'm trying to analyze it later that I start to get pulled out of the film.
Well, I think the
majority. How did that happen?
It's something that I've just looked at. There's one scene where she's hailing for a taxi, and you can see a cinema. And on the cinema, you've got Ghostbusters and you got Footloose. Footloose came out on the 13th of April, 84, and Ghostbusters came out on the 7th of December, 84. So, but they're both on the cinema at that same time.
Well, yeah, but obviously in this universe, they were released at different times.
Remember, it's not our
No, but it's indicative of how little they cared.
Exactly.
Well,
I just want to say that it's
to say that. Hey, look, don't. Maybe it's their way to say, don't be so big of a nerd, man.
Yeah, but we are. It's made for nerds. It's made for geeks. It's made for geeks. Made for nerds.
I know, but
and it's 2020 when it came out. I know people are going to look at it. That's what the internet was made for.
There was a car that was driven in Egypt that they were riding in that didn't come out until like 1990. I mean, there were just simple things in this movie that they got wrong.
Let's remember
it's Fear the Walking Dead season 4. We knew it could be better because we had seen other seasons of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. It was awful.
Listen, here's the problem. Wonder Woman should have never came to America. They should have kept her in Europe.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, they should have done the World War II story. I would have loved.
And they wanted to, but AT&T said, we're not spending that. We're not spending that money for the wardrobe.
And I want to go back to what I want to go back to what Nick said real quick, because one of the reviews that was shared when we were all talking back and forth online nailed it, I believe, about the opening scene. They wanted to bring back a bunch of really cool Amazons who died in the first movie. Yeah. So that was the whole purpose of the opening scene.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
We love these characters. Let's
So we
bring
got to
them back.
canonize Linda Carter. Got to tantalize her with that money.
Yeah, I mean,
It was a whole thing.
It was
I love
Amazon
Linda
who
Carter,
purchased
but
the name.
I could have lived with that. First off, I knew that was Linda Carter the second I saw her eyebrows, because those are Linda's eyebrows. I love them. But I would have, like I said, look, if I would have made this film, it would have been a very different film. It would have been set in World War II. I would have seen them freeing the concentration camps. I would have seen the idea of Wonder Woman and her friends living their lives. I think that would have been a fantastic film.
This would have been better as number 3, not number 2.
Well, this would have, and let's be honest here, this is our 4th Wonder Woman film, and they haven't done her justice yet. But because I still don't say 1 was that good. I think
disagree. I think 1 was fantastic.
1 was pretty good.
1 made me cry.
Apart from the ending.
I cared so much, I cried.
It might be 1 was good for a DC film. Don't act like 1 was that much better than this one. I think
oh my god! So was.
No, I'm gonna
if that's a litmus test for a good DC film, this was a litmus test for an average or an expectedly bad DC film.
I just do you know, when it comes to these movies, especially with like Marvel and DC, because I had the same problem with Black Panther that I did with the first Wonder Woman film, is that the way the story was going, the ending would have been far more better if they just down-teched everything till it was just 2 guys fighting, no CGI, back to basics, right? And I'll tell you another film that really worked with. You know, if you look at World War Z, do you know how they totally changed it, where from a big budget to a small budget, and that totally worked? I think with Wonder Woman, they could have done the same thing. And the only reason they had that battle at the end of Wonder Woman 84 is with the CGI is because they knew that bit in that office was bullshit. You know what I mean? It was just crap. So they needed some kind of
she should have
fight.
killed Maxwell Lord like in the comics. That's all.
Well, that's okay,
Yeah.
Lilith. That's what I was trying to
I'm
do.
to your rescue, buddy. I got you.
Yeah, just like they did in the comics. Yeah, because again,
And that's why she's the way she is when Bruce finds her. That's all I'm saying.
I get what they were trying to do. They wanted her to talk to everyone, be the hope, and all this. But it's like, The nuke's already in the air. You're really going to take the time to have how many million people? I renounce my wrist. I renounce my wrist.
Bearing in mind, they do say this is your 4-minute warning. Don't know
They also said the
4-minute warning.
either have everyone renounce their wish or destroy the stone, which he was the stone. So yeah, they should have gone full con.
No,
Nukes are in the air. Just snap his neck.
And how much flack did they get when they have Wonder Woman killed Maxwell Lord?
Well,
oh my
Wonder
gosh,
Woman does not have a phone.
killing a
Do not
rapist.
kill policy.
Well, they did Man of Steel do it.
Happened in comics.
Superman did it.
She has to make the hard choices. She's Amazon. Be serious.
Superman did it in a poorly received Superman film.
Nobody talks about Man of Steel.
Wonder Woman kills before Superman kills.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely, Wonder Woman should
No,
kill
I
before
thought it was
Superman kills.
Wonder Woman more than Superman.
But they're trying to recapture. They're trying to. Here's the thing. Jenkins said, "Hey, is there any way that you can fix everything Snyder did? Yeah, I know we're giving him another $10 million to do his own thing for the fanboys, but could you maybe fix this for us?" And I think she did her best. She tried to recapture what the 70s Wonder Woman series did, especially the 1940s set one, where it is Wonder Woman as the pinnacle of Marston's feminist ideal of what if we worked together and found compassion instead of always just punching things?
But that's not what they were going for.
But she's the warrior. Even from the beginning of the movie, she's the warrior. I mean, Superman.
But she wanted to go with that 90s/2000s version.
Have you ever watched the original 1970s Wonder Woman set in the 40s?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is always about how it's very Captain America-like. It is this idea. There are bullies and I have to fight them. Oh, by the way, there's actually a great call out to Captain America in this from Barbara when she says she says something
this all day. I can do this all day. That's what she says.
No, she says it all night. She says I can basically to show this is an anti-Captain America. And I got what they were going. They tried, they failed, obviously. But they tried, and I like to grade on effort.
I'm sorry. I was going to say.
As long as we can separate those two ideas and understand them, that they get, an F for execution.
Yeah, well, it's a DC film. I assume they have an F for execution. I don't think there has been a really good DC film. There have been bad Marvel films, but I don't
like
think
Man of Steel.
Yeah, I know someone's gonna like something.
You're talking new era or
people that like
old
Man of
era?
Steel on this panel. Get out.
Because during the 80s, Superman, 70s, it's Superman, and you had Batman and Batman Returns, the best superhero. And now what's happening? We're gone.
AT&T's in a rush. AT&T
sees
that Marvel, that Disney
they want to catch up with Marvel, and again, Marvel.
You gotta put in the
20 movies in the effort.
Yeah, 20 movies in.
It's like Incredible Hulk, not the best film. Okay.
For the Dark World, not the best.
Yeah, but Charlie, how many films has DC made that were flops, and how many films has Marvel made that were mediocre? I rest my case. There's like 2 or 3 bad Marvel movies. Most movies are mediocre.
Even this is making its budget back at the box office. So that should tell
over
you.
100 million at the worldwide box office during a pandemic.
Exactly. It's
somebody's watching it, and it flopped in China, so somebody else is watching it.
So how much is it made worldwide, Lilith? How much did you say?
It's over 100 million last time I checked.
So it was a 200 million budget. So they've got a bit to go.
Yeah, but
we're talking pandemic money. Where Tenet only made
this right here should tell you
what everybody's judging it at is that Tenet.
Wait, no. But this should tell you how many DC apologists like Charlie there are, and how blindly they're willing to support any piece of crap you give them. Look at Suicide Squad. They made their money back. That movie,
unpopular opinion. I liked that movie.
No sister-in-law of mine's gonna say they like Suicide Squad.
That's what I'm saying. Every film's gonna have the supporters and detractors, and it's whether or not that film spoke to you about what it was trying to do.
It made me want to watch more Power Rangers. That's what I'm doing.
Well, there you go. Anything that makes you want to watch more Power Rangers, that's good.
I agree.
You know, exactly. I mean, I would love to watch more Power Rangers right now. Let's watch a Power Ranger.
Yeah, but bearing in mind with the Suicide Squad, is they're basically remaking it. They're remaking it because they knew that one was was garbage.
What are they making? The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. It's like Ice Baby.
The Batman, you know, on Earth too.
You know, I mean, that's the thing, and that's and for
Shout out, Ray.
That's what Patty is. She is in a Martian universe that she's got to deal with. And they're like, okay, yeah, Snyder did horrible. We're still going to give him $1 million.
And then for what it's worth, people still are clamoring for that Snyder cut. People still want to be in that universe.
I don't
think
even know.
We don't need a terrible leader because he said, "Oh no, that's a cul-de-sac. That
the most horrible
That's where your money is for HBO Max."
Ezra Miller stopped the Flash. Bring in Grant Gustin.
Yeah, well, maybe they will. Maybe that's the big reveal of the new Flash movie. I'm telling you, man.
How can he be Flash? Seeing that all that footage was leaked online of him strangling that bird.
Because it's DC,
remember it?
We don't
it's
care.
Like, he's okay. All right.
Wait, Grant.
I mean,
no.
Ezra.
Yeah. But we don't
Yeah, no, but that lady was also crazy and homeless and like, you know,
so we can just beat up
strange and whatever.
And that's actually a mental illness.
I didn't do it.
You know.
Yeah, but like, you know, as a celebrity, some crazy, you know, person.
Ezra Miller is hardly a celebrity, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about him.
Yeah, exactly.
I talk about my dogs a lot, but they're not celebrities.
That's the first time you brought her up here, right? So,
yeah,
Well,
no.
yeah.
What I'm going to say is, look, Ezra Miller's Flash, whatever compromising photographs he has them.
The Flash.
And everyone,
honestly, the DCU going forward is actually hinged upon the contingent that Flashpoint does well. So that's the whole thing about why they're not. No, it's.
I believe that. I believe that. Everyone's just like,
oh no.
Listen, DC, the
future past isn't a rewrite.
They're gonna write Cyborg off however they write him off.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, with DC though, you know, with DC, they're the ones that have put on this multiverse where if they knacker up the timeline and knacker up the films, they go, yeah, that was a different universe. Let's start again.
Sure.
X-Men did it.
I'm not mad at that.
Fair enough.
I don't think
that was 20th Century Fox.
That's not the Marvel bar you should be shooting for. That's the idea.
Yeah, what happened there? We'll have to do one on that. You know, honestly, we will have to all sit down and do the X-Men, all their films.
The X-Men Force
Can
Mortem.
we start with Logan? Can we start with something good?
I mean, I'm happy to rewatch any of them. I mean, you know, they're first off, I'm not a fan of Nick in general. So
I was going to say we don't have to do the work. Nick's already done all that. Nick's like done a bunch of X-Men films.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm doing New Mutants tomorrow, which is going to be fun.
Bless your soul.
Thank God Nick's not asked me for that one.
I don't know.
No, Jamie, you are already on for Amazing Spider-Man 2, so be prepared for that one, man.
Cold hard white nipples. Yes.
I'm washing my hair.
No, but I mean, what I'm
By the
saying
way, Nick, I'm sorry if I confused you for
and
Jamie.
just have fun with it.
So that's
No worries.
That's how I watch DC movies.
No worries.
everyone's
No, but
talking
what I'm Charlie, you were saying we might appreciate this movie in the grander scheme of things because it's going to be part of like the collective universe. Granted, we don't know what is going to happen in the third Wonder Woman film, but looking at it, obviously, in the short run, you're thinking this film leads up to what technically happens in Justice League, right? Hence the fact that
I actually think that Justice League is being written out of history.
Well, no, because my point is Wonder Woman wanting to conceal her identity and everything because Bruce Wayne finds out about her, etc. And then he's like, who are you? And all this kind of thing. That's why nobody knew about her, because they're almost trying to excuse or continue that storyline. But the thing is, now Wonder Woman can fly, but in Justice League, she can't fly. In Batman vs. Superman, she can't fly.
I haven't rewatched Justice League, so I don't know how flying she is.
You know what? Save yourself 2 hours and watch
That's what happened.
They might fix that with the Snyder Cut. She might be able to fly.
Exactly. You know, I don't know.
Snyder cares about women in his movies.
I know.
But here's what I'll say. First off, as far as anything, I do not. This happens before everything that happens in Justice.
And Flashpoint technically happens after it and erases a lot of things, guys. So
Exactly. So it's like, to me, what I got from this was, oh, she is trying to keep her identity a secret because she does take out the cams. And this is a time before everyone has a cell phone camera.
It had a ski mask.
You know, this is the old Superman thing. It's like, yeah, you know, people have cameras, but they can't catch the blue blur. You know,
red, blue, blur, Smallville forever.
Whatever, yeah, you know. But the idea is that, you know, the character can be hidden and still be active. And I think that they're trying to split they're trying to fix what Snyder already established.
I mean,
that is a bad place to have to be, but writers have to do it all the time. That's the thing. You have canon you have to deal with. And I guess that's
more than anything, she leaned into it and made a worse movie than the first. I mean, like, what everybody's saying. I mean, you can take your opinion on it, but yeah.
I think
it was a weird choice.
Patty's a good director. She's just not a very good writer.
Debatable. I'm telling you guys, she really didn't write this movie. Guys, seriously, I'm being very
okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, I don't know who writes anything anymore because it's just what IMDb.
Right. She didn't write it, guys.
Yeah, IMDb tells me
on this film. Yeah.
IMDb tells me everything I know, but aside from that, I can't get bogged down in the politics of a story. I got to look at what is the story they're trying to tell. And
but
if
the politics are the reason why the movie's so bad.
Well, I assume that about every AT&T branded product. You know, my hope is that there is a Kevin Feige in AT&T who we don't know who he is yet, who is saying, okay, I got some ideas. We got a lot of pieces. We got to put them in place. And my dream is
barely keep regular seniors.
I know. But here's what I'm going to say: we didn't know that Kevin Feige was Kevin Feige until he became that kind of freak. You know, Kevin Feige became Kevin Feige after everyone's like, "Wow, Marvel's making really good films." And then we all started, well, gee, who is the Sam?
That's why we don't know who this person is because they haven't made a good film yet.
Exactly. But I gotta feel, basically, my feeling is that they took the right lessons from Shazam. They tried to push it into this Snyderverse mold, which was not easy. I think they got as good of a film as they could have out of it, and then once they get to where they're going after Black Adam, and I know you think I'm crazy to say that, but given the emphasis on past lives,
but okay.
Given the emphasis on past lives, the references to Bilali, given everything they set up, and I wish they would have given us an after credit scene for Black Adam, and they didn't, and that's disappointing. But everything they gave us, it tells me that, oh, maybe there is a greater theory here. Maybe there is a greater idea that they're telling in chapters. And this is going to be one of the softer chapters. But as I always say, you know, no one liked Empire Strikes Back. Everyone thinks liked Empire Strikes Back.
What? That's actually my favorite Star Wars movie.
No.
That's fighting talk in England. Fighting talk.
I am not a fan of Star Wars by any stretch of the imagination, but Empire Strikes Back is so far my favorite.
Thank you.
And that's fine. We're cinephiles, I assume. And it is a good film from a cinephile perspective.
From a cinematic point of view, it is, yeah.
Yeah, it got very bad reviews. There were a lot of people who didn't like it. There were a lot of people who hated Return of the Jedi.
Charlie, I think you just like throwing hand grenades.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think you just like lobbing grenades.
I remember people hating these things.
Charlie, mute your mic. Mute your mic right now.
I remember everyone hating everything until now, in which case people love everything. So
I can honestly tell you that 30 years from now, I am not going to be saying, wow, Wonder Woman 1984 was so underappreciated.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know say that about any of the Marvel films either.
Oh my God, yes. Endgame was
yeah.
amazing. Civil War was amazing.
Right, hold on.
Yeah,
Right,
War,
I just
yeah.
want. I've got some numbers down here for the Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, for Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, tomatoes, tomatoes. Right. Well,
called
Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, right? Got 93% reviews. Well, let me just have a look at the guy. Yeah, is it fresh? The tomato meter 93, and then the audience score, right? It was 84. Yet Wonder Woman 1984 got 61 tomato meter, whatever that is, but it got 74 audience scores, which is, I think it's put it lower than Suicide Squad. So there you go. That's the audience.
For good taste either, especially
Charlie,
DCU fans are weird, man.
Charlie, as the apologist of this movie, you said once again you might appreciate this film with the bigger picture. In a vacuum, is this a good movie?
I will say this: my first viewing, I left with a happy feeling. I felt, that was a fun film. That was a good waste of my time.
You were drunk.
Well, I'm always drunk. You can't use that. That's a base, okay?
Charlie, are you a politician? Can you not do a yes or no answer?
So as an example, let me give you this example. Soul is objectively good on every level. I love Soul. It was a great film. However, I'm going to say this. At the same time, Henchman came out the same day. There were the three films. There was Wonder Woman, Henchman, and Soul. I am far more interested in what Henchman is going to do as a mediocre film, building its universe, than either of the big budgets. I've rewatched Soul. I've rewatched Wonder Woman. They're great. I haven't rewatched Henchman yet, but I liked it because it was a fun film.
I'm going to be horribly, horribly sexist. Happy feeling makes me think of a little boy with an erection.
Okay, well, that's that.
Look here, sister-in-law. I do the dick joke.
I mean, there was nothing erotic about Wonder Woman for me. This was like the least erotic film in which a woman is not wearing pants that I've ever seen. I did not get. I don't think.
And I'm glad for that, actually. It's like Birds of Prey. The best thing about that is there's no male glaze. Thank
exactly.
God.
I mean, but I enjoy. I mean, it was. I think my biggest complaint was actually like, why are the pilot and co-pilot seats next to each other, not one behind the other? It's like that's the point. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not how you designed that plane. That's not even how that plane looks when we see it from the outside.
In a plane that didn't come out for 3 years until after 1984, may I add?
Bill, did you just say that Steve hadn't even seen fireworks? Is that what you said? Did you say that?
I know. They're looking into each other's eyes.
Fireworks have been around for centuries. That was
but
another
he's never
thing.
seen them. He's like,
to be fair, he would have seen an escalator too.
Yes, escalators were around.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is
Maybe
older
he
than
grew up in a small farming town. Leave that boy alone.
He was just excited about the fireworks. I don't.
Do you know what? Steve Trevor was so excited about being in the future. I'm surprised at one point when he was walking around his own apartment, gone, "Do you know what? I'm bigger now. Wow, love it."
I don't think.
Don't you ever take this wish back?
But you ain't heard that from me.
And it's a great 80s callback, Big and this, and the wishes that we have that.
That's the whole point, you know. It's like with that with the bit where Pasco jumps into that beam of light, and so you're telling me basically hold on, right? Yeah, this is the best bit. Do you know when he's in the Oval Office? Yeah, they just happen to have some top secret on a board, and he's doing a meeting. Don't look at that board.
That's how the 80s rolled in the Reagan house, baby.
Don't look at that board, right? And then he's like, "Oh, what's that? Excuse me, Mr. President, what's this? Oh, that's our plot board. That plot board tells you what's happening next. It's fantastic, brand new technology, brand new. We're never going to use it again after the 80s, but right now it's
use it again.
They're all poster size. Oh, that's our.
What? This can beam into every single piece per person's house? Yes, it fries technology and remakes technology in people's TVs. What?
It's a film about gods and monsters. Okay.
Yeah, but
Let's
let's have some kind of.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's ridiculous, yes, but what film isn't ridiculous when it comes to technology?
Again, snap his neck.
This is
Okay,
This is
speaking-
freaking hydrogen gas. Unless you were here to fight me on hydrogen gas, which me and Maz discussed on Full Stream Ahead today, where if it is hydrogen cyanide, it actually could work. There is actually a scientific, but again, it's the same problem, which is hydrogen cyanide is lighter than air and floats up, whereas everything else is the hydrogen sulfate actually would go down, which is actually more poisonous. Although really chlorine gas is the gas that they're trying to deal with. But the idea that it's not the hydrogen, it's the cyanide. If they had said it was cyanide gas, and that was what they were working with, then it was, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, cyanide, that's maybe a lighter molecule. I don't know. And the whole thing is, at the end of the day, if you're not going to be calling out hydrogen gas as the deadly weapon in Wonder Woman 1, I don't want to hear any complaints about the tech in Wonder Woman 2.
No, but Wonder Woman 1 gave us tons of reason not to worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's your argument.
Right.
I think,
and that's why I'm not going to call it out there, and I am going to call it out here, because they gave me plenty of other stuff to be happy about.
Exactly. When the writing's good, you're more likely to say, "Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I guess I got pulled out the same amount by both of the bad bits of writing, so it's like I guess to me, since I'm always pulled out by that's bad science. It doesn't matter how good the writing is. I'm always
we
saying,
podcast about corpses coming, like reanimating, but I'm not going to believe that a unicorn's going to come on screen at any moment. Like,
Do you know what? That reminds me of a joke that came out this Christmas about unicorns. Right, this little kid says to Santa, he goes, Santa says, "What would you like for Christmas?" And he goes, "Well, I'd love a PS5." No, sorry. He goes, "I'd love a unicorn." And he goes, "Don't be ridiculous. Think of something better than that." And he goes, "Oh, I like a PS5." And he goes,
what color do you
was
want
the
unicorn?
Yeah, what color was the unicorn? Yeah, it's like that, right? This film, when you've got poor writing, that makes a poor film, and it makes you start questioning things. If you've got good writing, it doesn't matter what happens on the screen, because your brain goes, "Oh yeah," it connects all the dots. They're making a film that doesn't connect the dots, and that's the thing with it. Perhaps rewatching it, but you're always going to have those bits and bobs that you think, nah. Because bearing in mind, when Pascal renounces everyone's wishes, he still gets a presidential chopper to take him to the exact location of his son, and his son just reappears out of a bush. Are you telling me at that point he didn't say, "Oh, I wish I could find my son"? Hey, that just happened.
I want to go to the gods and monsters thing really quick, Charlie, because Jamie, you led right into it. So, do we really think that there's no consequence whatsoever for everything that Max Lord did? That all of a sudden he gets the chopper and the forgiveness of his son, and everything's fine?
And again, it comes down to this question of. So, and let me give you a little tidbit, and this goes into this idea of what. Because here's the thing: the actual wish that was problematic for the most part is just the president's wish. He's the one who wishes I had more nukes. He's the one who wishes that puts the world at the edge of Armageddon.
Yeah, but else would have access to this helicopter then after he was
because he renounces his wish. That doesn't mean that Pedro Pascal didn't renounce his ability.
He's got to. For this to work, they put it in the every single person in the world has to renounce it. And now, if it was me and I turned thin, do you think at some point I would go, "Yeah, I'm going to renounce that"? No way.
Wait.
The world is doomed, guys. I'm just telling you all that.
I can reconcile Diane and Charlie.
Not in evidence.
I can reconcile Diane and Charlie's issues. So
go for it.
It like, say he renounces his wish and there's like, we don't see a consequence. Maybe Charlie's right and they're setting it up for a part 3, and Pedro Pascal's kid comes back as the villain in the future. He turned his kid bad.
Ooh, that's fun.
I think neglect is going to turn this kid bad.
Yeah, he's not the best father.
You've also got to remember. Sorry, Phil. Go on.
I was going to say, every time I saw this kid, they're like, "Oh yeah, the mother dropped them off or whatever." I'm just like, my head canon. Okay, here's my head canon. That kid was living in that office, just like under a conference table. He was living off like chips from the vending machine.
Can we just also say about that kid that that kid is properly. Someone should tell Pesco, check your DNA on that kid, mate. That ain't yours.
Not yours, mate. We didn't see mom.
You can have your useful.
We didn't see mom.
But
okay,
flashback. Had black hair until we died.
When we first see that kid, he's like in the office, and then we also see the random investor guy in the office. And if my secretary put my kid in an office way off in the back somewhere with some rando dude, that secretary would be fired.
He only has the one at that point.
It's the 80s. People trusted people. Ask Jimmy Savile. I said last to Jimmy Savile.
I mean, that was actually like 84. That's when that might be like just before the Different Strokes episode. Where
dude, that's when people were still having sleepovers at Neverland. So
yeah exactly. It's like
Put it this way: the amount of letters I wrote to Jimmy Savile to be to have me walk on the set of Empire Strikes Back. If I knew now what then. I knew that letter would have been an awful bit different, and I would have been on that set. I'm just saying.
A proton pack.
But yeah, so I mean, look, I'm done defending this film.
DCEU sucks. Let's just be real. Objectively compared to the MCU, it's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, you're dead
I think that's the saddest part of it is that
I don't know what you were expecting. Deadbird, don't open. You opened it.
What I'm going to say is, if it wasn't for people comparing it to the MCU, I think I think the DCEU could have just been making its own film.
But they asked us to.
I compared it to the first one.
I know they did. They screwed it up. And again, like I said, for me, all these films are ridiculous. I like ridiculous things. I read comic books. That's my thing. It's like I read comic books. I actually think comic books are cool.
And this is the most comic book movie of them all, which is why I'm okay.
Yes, exactly. This to me in the same way I like Ang Lee's
mediums requires changing the way you present it. You can't make a Ninja Turtle movie that's just like the Ninja Turtle TV show because it's going to be too unrealistic and too ridiculous for us to take seriously. You have to transition a little bit.
I disagree.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing.
And until that happens, I reject that logic.
And I reject the whole I read comic books because they're ridiculous because I just have two things. Sandman, The Boys. 3, Preacher.
Okay, fine. Those are all books I don't read.
Still kind of ridiculous.
Fair enough.
Very well
if this was,
into the world.
If this was a comic book,
still ridiculous.
If this was an actual comic book, I'd be taking it back, saying, "I think there's a couple of pages missing."
And so here's the thing: is they either needed to go one way or the other. Like I feel that the first Wonder Woman movie was like non-comic booky. And if they would have gone full comic book, I would have appreciated the movie. But they tried to do some sort of weird middle of the road crap, and it just didn't work.
What I will say is, I think a lot of the biggest problems with the first Wonder Woman film is that it subverted expectations. So, as an example, when you have the guy who suffers clearly from PTSD, does he get the big redemption scene where he gets to take the shot and proves himself to be an adequate soldier? No, he doesn't. He fails again. Because you know what? PTSD is awful. And you don't get to just make the shot. And I think...
need to see that.
Yeah, but unless you want to tell a story where that isn't the thing. If you want to tell a story where things don't work the way you want it to...
Or make sense.
You know, but
but the writing was better in that film. You didn't need the backstory or anything like that. You could understand, you could relate to it.
The villains were just as weak. The MacGuffin was just as dumb. But
exactly. You know,
is one of them, right?
That does take into account all the other things. The character development was good. The chemistry was good. The acting.
Really? Because I don't think that Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor had good chemistry in the first.
You did enough.
I actually think Barbara and Wonder Woman have great chemistry in this.
But I think Chris Pine is definitely better in this movie.
I thought Ghostbusters 2016 again, all over.
All right, sister-in-law, I am totally down with Maz and not with you. Sorry.
I don't even need the comic booky villain in Wonder Woman 1. I didn't need the God of War. Like, they could have ended it with killing the bad dude, the Nazi dude, and it would have been fine there.
Brought it down smaller.
But we did the guy killer thing, so we had to. That was his old.
Yeah, but they daren't. They just daren't go to that kind of level. They just daren't do it. I don't know why because sometimes I think just go smaller for once, just to see if it works, right? And if it doesn't, then fair enough. Don't just go into a proper CGI battle because people are starting to call on it.
What is
exactly the tail?
That's the studio, isn't it? They always love the big.
Yeah. Bear in mind, I did read that the studio wanted 2 scenes cutting from this film. They wanted the beginning. And the mall.
Yeah.
What they wanted was one or the other. They said you can't have 2 cold opens.
And again, okay.
Yeah, here we are because it's not the fully finished edited movie. Just
and again, okay. Wonder Woman expert with Hellfire. Didn't she train in secret where her mother didn't know until she competed?
Right.
But it's a big Olympics game. Everybody gets a chance. That's the way I took it.
Everyone gets a trophy.
But she wasn't allowed to learn how to shoot a bow and arrow off of riding a horse, like that wasn't supposed to be her at that age. If they would have done that when she was like 16, 17, when her mom was like, fine, you can train her, it would have been better. But no, they had to do the little girl in the Cirque du Soleil scene.
Yeah. Well,
because little kids are cute. Don't they pull on your heartstrings? I mean,
but that's the point. It's really cheaply.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That beginning, all those girls who have been training for years all stood there and they looked at that little girl and went, hold on, she's a demigod. We're going to lose. I'm going home.
Actually, but they don't. What she doesn't.
Let's hope she cheats, huh?
Well, she gets knocked off her horse because she's not ready to win. She wants to tell the lie to win, but it's the lie. And only the truth is true.
My other problem with that scene is one of the very first things we see is one of the other chicks body checking a girl off of her horse or something. Yes. So we can't take a shortcut, but we can sabotage one of our opponents.
Yeah, because
that doesn't seem lawful good.
Well,
that doesn't seem lawful good.
No, it's not lawful good. It's the way the game is played.
They're Amazons. They're warriors. Come on.
Exactly. I actually felt bad that no one pushed her off. I would think they were being way too nice. Like, really, no one's gonna body check.
That would have been me as an Amazon, just by the way. I'd have been the one pushing the kid off.
You know what? That's the thing. I mean, I think that's it's Hippolyta's kid.
Yeah, but
I guess we gotta be nice to her.
Marnell,
she's the princess, guys.
Marnell, to be fair, you and the 10-year-old be the same size, so
fair fight. Yeah. You got me there.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing of it is that I think that the other, and that's really what the point was, is the other Amazons are competing against each other. No one is going to body check you because you're the freaking princess. No one is which is why, not for nothing.
I'd be like,
why in the original story, when Diana does the big competition, she has to do it in secret. Because she,
it's like the Knight's Tale, guys. With the prince, it's that thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when the original story is told, she has to reveal that see, mother, I was the one who won, and it was big. But she had to, because if she hadn't, first off, her mother would have stopped it in the original comic. But more in the construct of the story, it's like, she can't. No one's going to challenge the queen's daughter. And for the fight thing, I loved that because it was very much the idea of catching the currents, which is, I think, literally from the original books from the 40s, where they say that Wonder Woman catches the currents to fly. You know, that when she first starts flying, it's catching the air currents, and you know, it's kind of
Also
she got
because
Hermes
in 52,
shoes.
She is a god, and she's riding on her father's powers or whatever.
I thought she got Hermes shoes.
That too.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
That's like
DC
5
has so many
continuities ago.
versions of the story. Who knows?
Yeah,
anymore.
that's like 5 continuities ago.
But
Yeah,
the whole reason for that scene was basically you can't take the easy way out and don't lie. That was the concept, right? Did we have to do it in a sequence that was at half an hour? Did we have to do
Fair
that?
enough.
Did we have to?
We didn't.
Could have had
I mean,
to
that's
do
not
that,
it.
I'd
and
rather have
No,
that Amazon movie than this.
you could have
movie.
had a nice heart-to-heart between Hippolyta and Diana sitting down together, kind of like a Mufasa and Simba going on, like,
Yeah.
don't lie, be true to yourself, etc. Not half an hour of padded out, needless, useless
my
stuff. where you could have
golden
done
armor,
way
babe.
more.
And did we really have to do it at all? Because that was already established for Diana's character
I know,
in the
yeah.
first movie.
Without a doubt,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
I actually think that was maybe what AT&T was saying, but she fought him on it.
Well,
And
but
they're like, well, we don't want to have another Snyder Cut situation, so leave it in.
Oh, we're getting the
half
Jenkins.
hour this movie could really be trimmed and like tightened up.
It's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
the Jenkins
and they have the
cut.
time.
HBO Max in 2
You have the
years.
time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
although, like I said, I think that it was. I kind of feel like they put more in than they needed to. I don't know if there is. I'm going to be honest with you, Love. I don't know if there's a Jenkins cut. I don't know.
I know for a fact that there is.
Okay.
This is not the movie that I watched in October, is what I'm telling you guys.
Okay,
It's also
well,
not
that's-
the
oh, that's
manuscript
right,
that I
guys.
read either.
Because
Yeah.
Will saw another version of this movie.
Okay, well, for
How did
those
you
who
get your
had to
hands on
that?
suffer
Hold
through this one,
What's
you
that,
know,
Lilith? Are you saying you've seen a different version of this film?
She got a screener's copy, you got a press copy, didn't you?
Not a press copy.
So Lilith, was the movie that you saw a better movie?
Slightly. It was not as long, and things were trimmed down, and there was a completely different love story to be told. But I guess AT&T didn't want to tell that story. and
Really?
Was that-
wants to actually talk about it?
Was that
is that
Barbara
where we get the
Diana?
other story of
Hold
my
on.
dream?
This movie was supposed to come out in June. There's a low-key rainbow theme to the artwork and in the movie motifs itself, and I'll let you figure that out for yourself.
So wait.
Oh, I
Barbara-
kind
Barbara
of caught
Diana got
that
it on?
feeling at their lunch dinner thingy, right?
And it's kind of canon to the comic books as well. But I
Is
guess
Barbara
we're gonna
supposed
go
to
there,
be the
so-
new Edda? Is this our new One True
That I
Love?
would have enjoyed.
Yes.
Hence the reason we ended up with.
I can't really talk about it.
Hence the
Right.
reason we ended up with the poorly
Hold on,
patched in Steve Trevor, who was in the body of someone, and there was no consensual sex.
Oh man.
Hold on. So, Lilith, you saying you can't speak to it, but the film's out now, so surely you can speak about it
I
because
can't speak about the second to last final draft that I read, and I can't talk about the movie that I actually saw because this is completely different. Until Patty wants to say what happened at AT&T and why they made her say she co-wrote the movie, I can't go in on it.
I think you need to
Okay,
send me
no,
that
fair
film.
enough, fair enough, fair enough. Don't press her. Don't press her. That's
Wait, Lilith, did they film a love scene between Diana and Barbara?
Not a love scene, but you definitely, more than gals being pals is all that I will say, and let it go.
okay. Yeah, I mean,
I get it.
I caught those feelings early on. I was like,
And then
that
it
could be
just
interesting.
disappears and she jumps into Maxwell Lord's arms. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
Well, Jafar needed his Iago, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair,
And
Do you know,
I will say that all the Aladdin movies are superior to the Wonder Woman.
Right.
I
My
just
favorite Disney,
want.
franchise.
Here's what I want for Wonder Woman 3. I want Barbara to still have her superpowers. I
Wrong.
want to see her in a. I'm sorry. Okay, well, if you don't want that, that's
It's
fine.
Cersei. Cersei's the villain for movie 3.
Okay, well, okay, whatever. I want her because I wanted them to do it in the reverse way they do it in the comics, which is instead of her now she's a real cheetah woman. I want her to wear the freaking fun fur outfit again. I want to
They
see.
didn't want to encourage the furries, baby doll.
Always
Are we
encourage
saying
the
then?
furries. They
Are we saying
forever
that
good.
Cheetah has got like 9 Lives sort of thing, because I would think that the third film would have been set another
Chrissy
30
went to
years to
Access
present
World, but
day.
we didn't want to spend
You know
more
what I mean?
money, so we got
And-
what we got.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
and
honestly,
Kirsty Wig would be like way too old, to be in it.
because maybe she's immortal now.
So they're gonna direct the third. Michael Bay is gonna direct the third movie, and she is gonna be like some random hot chick, like who's
Here's what I'm gonna
22
say.
years old.
Guys, we're getting Cersei, a way better villain.
Patty Jenkins has already been signed to the third film.
Yeah,
and is supposedly writing and directing. Supposedly writing for real. Though.
I doubt it. But okay, if you
Supposedly.
I doubt it.
I mean, I'm just saying that this hasn't killed her career. She's moving forward.
But like I said, the reason why this movie is the way it is it's petty humiliation ritual because she wants to go do her thing over at Marvel.
Disney.
It's a lot of things that went into that. The whole $10 million to say that they like HBO Max. It's this big whole thing. It's not a conspiracy. I'm being dead serious about this. But
you need the money.
Unless you put the pieces together, you wouldn't know. If you don't know where to look, you wouldn't know. It's a mess. And they've always wanted Wonder Woman to fail. They've never been fully behind this franchise. It is what it is.
That's sad.
That is sad.
I've said this for years. Not only the comic books, but the movie also. Like no offense to Patty Jenkins. We could have got Catherine Bigelow. We could have got Ava DuVernay to do this movie.
Well,
first one.
it's
way bigger female directors.
But did you notice that just before this film came out, the Investors Day for Lucas for Disney, and they had Kathleen Kennedy come in and said, all those beautiful things about Patty about making the Wonder Woman franchise, and she was doing Rogue One. Now I watched it and I thought, oh my God, I can't wait for this, and that beautiful little trailer that she produced
you gotta make
as well.
your deals before your movie comes out.
Yeah, and then this film come out, and I'm thinking, oh man! And trouble is with Disney, you're only as good as your last film. You asked Colin Trevorrow about that because when he made that Henry film, that was great. Disney didn't like it, and that's why he didn't do episode 9. You know what I mean? Just saying.
There's a lot more to the whole Wonder Woman thing at DC. AT&T specifically definitely wanted to sabotage Wonder Woman. I don't know why. They are definitely not a woke company, and they kind of lean into that at this point. So
well, go woke, go broke. That's what they say, and
that's what the kids say.
Yeah, and
meanwhile, Marvel's doing that whole MCU Phase 4, so we'll see. We'll see who's right.
If you look at the current band of franchises at the moment that have gone for major diversity, major wokeness, and it's just not working. Look at Doctor Who. Doctor Who's gone down
because it's
a
never
lot.
done honestly. It's always done in a forced
I'm
way.
sorry. The MCU is doing very well. I think
I'm
WandaVision's
talking
gonna.
about Phase 4 specifically, where there's all these rants, way more rants and raves than raves that are going on because my male superheroes. Like we'll see. Like I said,
I know, but the fact of the matter is that Disney doesn't care what the fan thinks
if
it's a good story.
For them is my point.
And
I
Jamie,
think they'll pull it off no matter what the angle they take. They'll pull it off. They'll pull it off with a female Thor. They'll pull it off with anything. They'll make it work.
We'll see. Like
Let's
I
hope
said,
so.
we'll see. It's starting to
Let's
kind
hope
of build up a
I
backlash
think
on
so.
the internet.
It's
We'll see.
a make and break with the female Thor because even I was because I love Tika. You know what I mean? I was thinking, but his Thor. They did it with Doctor Who, and everyone. My son, who is aimed at, turned it off, and we've not seen anything of the 13 because I go to the cinema.
Jamie, come on, the 13th Doctor is amazing.
Don't like it. Don't want it. She does not exist.
And
Chip
also-
Mill totally killed that franchise.
No,
That's
but
fine.
also, to your point,
Sorry,
the
they've
New
killed it.
Year's Eve special is fantastic.
It's not. It's not that good at all. It's not that good at all.
We
I'm
agree to
sorry.
disagree. And
Yeah,
I
right.
would defend Jodie Whittaker till the day is long. I will say
Right,
that
for
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's Doctor Who. How good do you
Right.
want it to be?
Right, yeah, Doctor Who should be right. I hate to say it, but with Doctor Who, is that you've got this guy who's from Gallifrey. Yeah, I know a lot of people go, "Oh, he's an alien, so it could be any species." I'm sorry, but I love that idea that you get a granddad or a man, a real man. Yeah, that people can look up to that can solve problems with his brain and not pick up a gun. That little kids can see that their granddad or their uncle, right? But now, oh no, right? They have to go down the woke way, and now everything's got to be female. I know, you know what I mean? I'd say, but
Let me ask you this: if it was a grandma, would you be okay?
If it was
I
what?
actually had problems. I had actually problems with her being young. I wanted an old. I like my doctor who was old and crotchety.
It was the other thing as well. That when they asked her, did you ever listen to that podcast with David Tennant talking to her? And he said to her, "Have you done any research?" She went, "No, not really." And he says, "Have you read anything of Doctor Who?" She went, "No, why should I?" And he was like, and you could hear him going, "Oh, okay," you know what I mean? Because
but
he
David
loves
Tennant's
that.
a fanboy.
Yeah, so is Matt Smith. She ain't.
Yeah.
But saying that, it's
And
the
David
writing.
Tennant and Matt Smith
The
were
writing.
amazing doctors.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
It's not with the
Tom
Tom
Baker is the best doctor.
Christopher Eccleston in this house.
Wait, what about Christopher Eccleston?
Chris Eccleston is another
We don't skip
fantastic.
9,
doctor,
okay?
Another fantastic. Doctor.
I loved Christopher Eccleston. He was my
He was
first
awesome.
doctor.
He
How
was
can you love the Rose story if you skip 9? I don't meet people.
I've got a bit of a
was-
tale about Matt Smith. He actually FaceTimed me. Oh yeah.
This is like a Rob Southgate moment. Come on, you got it.
He was over in Australia filming the Terminator film, yeah, and he was in a nightclub, right? Don't know what he was doing in a nightclub, but he was with his mate, and he met my niece, yeah, and my niece, who was from England, turned around and thought, because this was Australia that were filming, she sort of went, "That's Matt Smith," and he clocked her saying his name. He went like this, and he ran over to her, and he spoke to her, and then they went back to his. I don't know if I should say this because get out of there, but they went back to his place, and she was texting me saying, "I'm with Matt Smith." And at the time, I was like, "Yeah, really?" And then I said, "Prove it, FaceTime me." And then she went, "Hi, it's me." And I went, "Hi, Jimmy, you're right." And she went, "Yeah, here's Matt Smith." And he went, "Hi, you're right, mate. I can't really say much, but hello." And I was like, "What?" And then, right, and then here's the thing, right? Oh no, I can't say it. I'll say it off air. What happened?
You showed
I
her
can't really say.
Screwdriver.
No, something slightly. Well, no, I'll say it.
Anyway, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Look,
the only doctor who was not a doctor for me was Peter Capaldi. I did not like Peter Capaldi.
He got better towards the end.
That's like, here's the thing. I think
I love them all.
to me, it's like there's Tom Baker, there's Sylvester McCoy. Unless
Everybody has a favorite
Will, get
doctor.
this old man off my lawn, please.
Should we get back to Wonder Woman on this?
Yeah.
I know I brought it off.
I know, but I'm just gonna say I actually think that I don't know what the ratings of Doctor Who right now are, but I actually think Disney's making the right choice in having an expanded palette.
I love him. I'm just saying.
And I was actually just watching a discussion of Soul today. And the idea that, oh, wow, not only is this a film about a black person, but the fact that he's black is not central to the plot. And it's like, oh my gosh, how revolutionary is that? That you're going to have a film about someone of any group, but that the fact that they're of that group and that the struggles of that group is not the central theme. But the central theme is about being a human being.
When I saw Soul, my brain did not think of color, right? I don't know why. I just saw him as a character, like any other film. My brain didn't even go into that part of like, oh, that's a black character. Isn't it nice that they've animated a black?
I know.
Never went there. So it's funny.
That's because you're not black, and I will wager that there are.
No, but I think
I wish I was.
Review. He was just saying, yes, I appreciated that.
No,
as
you
well.
don't. You know, I mean, to be literally honest, that's one of Chris Rock's famous things. It's like, look, I am rich. There's not a white person in this audience who would switch places with me today, because at most, you might say, "Oh, it would be great to be
right."
rich
Chris
and
Rock also said in one of his specials that he wanted people to go out and shoot white kids in one of his specials, and I was like, "Turn that one off straight off." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what Chris Rock says doesn't mean jack.
I know, but my point is that he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that you can. There's all sorts of ways that you can.
I've got a neighbor down the road who drives a Tesla. I want to be him.
I actually like my life. I don't know. I actually wouldn't trade my life with anyone else.
I wouldn't. I'd say,
it's like,
but
yeah.
if I was given a wish stone, I'd definitely make that wish. And I tell you what, I definitely wouldn't reseed it as well. Do you know? Getting back onto that, who thought? You know, when she was looking up for the god who made the stone, who thought, oh, it's Loki? I did. I was thinking, oh, they're going to go down the Loki route.
Marvel kids.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't read the comic books of Wonder Woman, but I don't know if this stone has been in a comic book or anything. But I thought, oh, they're going down the Loki with this, and then she went, oh, it's a real bad god, and I was like, oh, how bad is it? But there, she didn't tell us how bad it was.
I mean, I imagine if they were going to what Lola said, that they might have said this is something created by Eris, who is also one of the endless like Morpheus in the Dreaming. So Eris is one.
Please don't screw up my Sandman. Please don't let them touch it.
Wasn't there writing inside the ring as well?
It was the writing of the gods in the.
Yeah.
I forget the zone of the gods that is the specific.
Yeah, but it is. I'm sorry for you that it is Lock, Stock, and Barrel AT&T.
Who is the equivalent of Loki in Greek mythology?
Yeah,
Eris.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Eris Discordia.
Okay, and that's the difference is Norse mythology versus Greek mythology.
Well, actually,
no. Well, and Eris is female.
Yeah, actually, Loki is more aligned with Mercury or Hermes, in that they're the trickster gods. Eris is more a god of chaos. Loki isn't specifically a god of chaos. He is a god of tricks and tales.
But I'm saying DCU versus MCU. DCU is
I don't know.
mythology.
I don't know if
we have it all.
Charlie, technically in the DCU, the Dreamstone is created by Dolos, not by Eris.
Oh, well, no, yeah.
Who's the god of lies?
Yes.
So it's actually in one of the comic books then, this Dreamstone.
Yes. Although Lilith had pointed out.
Hold on, is it a Dreamstone or a Wish Stone? Because isn't that surely two different things?
Yeah. Lilith is saying it is the Chaos Stone, not the Dreamstone. So.
Chaos Crystal. If you want
Chaos Crystal.
Now that I would totally believe. Now, if they said it was a Dreamstone, so you know, on the twist of being a wish, so I dreamed that I was somebody else, then yeah. That I'll go with that, but not when you wish, because and she does say that to make it right, every single person has to really, you know, bring that, you know, nobody's going to do that. No one. There might be, but not every single person in the world.
Well, unless you were shown the truth. That's the idea. Is that just as he is saying you can have any wish you want, Diana is making everyone see the truth of their wish.
I'm going to go back to what Phil said about 2020.
You know, what I'm saying is
the wish.
The truth is that it is a lie. The truth is it's a lie. The truth is that all you are doing is cheating, and all you are doing is hurting other people and yourself by telling yourself this lie.
Have you met a human lately?
I mean, look, I'm just telling you what's established in the story. In the story, the idea is that the lasso isn't powered by her; it's powered by the truth. The wish stone isn't powered by anything.
That lasso was powered by a lot in this movie that I didn't appreciate.
It is powered by the concept.
I hated it.
Oh, the thing with the bullets? Is that what you said?
Like, whip the bullet.
Yeah.
That's not what that's there for.
The time when
honestly, she doesn't swing out like Spider-Man either in the books, but they wanted that. They wanted the cinematic scene. You know,
she could have ripped it away. I would have been fine with it.
How much do you want for I just want the comic books. I don't even care about the movies. I just want the comic books. Just let me know. Hit me up.
Yeah, but you can make a really good comic book film. I know, you know what I mean? You can make it.
Because we've seen them.
Yeah, it just needs really good writing. Can we, you know, let's go on to
Have you ever seen the 60s Marvel cartoons in which they literally lifted...
They just animate the panels, yeah.
Yeah, the animated... It's really not that good. I mean, it's enjoyable if you're a Marvel fan, but it's really not that good.
Do they just animate an arm or something?
Well, we've got better technology now. So, like I said, until
I'm just saying, it's like there's always going to be an adaptation differential. This is the story of Incredible Hulk. the TV show, and Wonder Woman, the TV show. It doesn't have to be exact. It has to have what it feels like to read a comic. It has to make you feel like
as much
this
as I love
is
Wonder Woman the TV show, that does not stand. Maybe for the Incredible Hulk, I don't know, but not for Wonder Woman. That has its own connotations, it's its own can of worms and stuff. So
I'll tell you what, if I had my way, I would want to see a sequel to Dread and not Wonder Woman 1984. I mean, I'd love
the remake wasn't half bad, though, Jamie. The Dread remake wasn't too bad. The new one with
Dread remake was really good. Oh,
exactly.
That's
what I'm saying, man. I mean, come on. You know, you can't. It was good. You know, that was good.
That needs a
don't
sequel.
luck is what Nick's saying.
And basically, was it Neil Gaiman wrote it?
Isn't Dread in and of himself kind of a gag character? Isn't he just sort of a just sort of a way to make fun of the Punisher?
Is it?
I don't think so.
Dread.
Yeah, it really seems like it's meant to be kind of a Howard the Duck-esque reaction to ultraviolet anti-heroes.
No, more than anything, it was created as, should we say, the British concept of fascism taken to the nth degree, and what happens when you have a fascist state.
2000
That's what
AD.
it was. Yeah.
So
and also, the thing is, you say about comics and stuff, you know, it's supposed to have heart. Where is the heart in this film? It's supposed to have hope. Where is the hope in this film?
It was gonna have hope and love, but you know, we had to bring Steve back because
to be fair, they signed him for 2 films, so they're paying him regardless.
I think what they should have done with Steve Trevor is they shouldn't have featured him in any trailers whatsoever. They shouldn't have put his name at the beginning of the credits, and they should have just let it be like, oh my god, that's Steve Trevor. What? And
well, they made the junior novel, so it was already kind of known.
But it would have been more, you know, it would have just been that the whole thing with Steve Trevor is the thing that I just can't get over, right? It's the thing. It would have been better if there was someone who looked like Steve Trevor, and then he became not even that actually, because for the simple reason they show nuclear bombs disappear, they show walls appear, disappear. They should have just had him appear, not just live a week in some guy's life, and then to have that scene in afterwards where she meets him and she's looking at him like, I went to bed with you, you can't remember it. Yeah, it's that whole scene in it with Jim Carrey film, was it? Me and Irene. You know, when he's like, when he's having that wee, and he's like, he had sex last night. It's like that. That sprung to mind. It's right. It is. I will buy this film because it is. It's not. I don't think it's the worst film, but I will buy it. I will definitely buy it. And the other thing about Christine Wiig or whatever her name is, right? I can't stand her in these when she's doing her comic, you know, because look at Ghostbusters. But you know when she started turning sort of evilish?
The Skeleton Twins. If you don't,
she was really good.
Don't think she can act. The Skeleton Twins with Bill Hader.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it. But when she was doing proper drama, I believed her. You know what I mean? I thought she was a better actress.
She was great in Bridesmaids too.
I agree.
Yeah, Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids too.
Like I said, she's not very good on her own, and that's the problem. She's somebody that needs somebody to play off of, as you do when you kind of come from comedy.
No, but you can't make that judgment based on this movie because the role was trash, the writing was even worse, and the directing might have been worse at all.
Yeah,
did anyone check out her nod to Batman as well? Did anyone see it? Her nod to Batman, where they're talking to her, and they turn around and she's disappeared. It's like, where's she gone? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was just a nod to her being Cheetah because she was super quick.
I thought, you know, if I had her wish and I said I want to be a cheetah, I'll turn into like a big crispy, cheesy snack. That's what happened to me.
Why did she make that second wish? It's like she had the Diana's strength.
Because she wants to be more. Because that's the thing is, no matter what you have, you want more.
No, she said she doesn't want to be like anybody. So it's like, well, if you're not.
So she wants to. She wants more. She wants to be Superman. She wants to be more than what she was, even though now she has everything. Because that's
the
thing.
little person who gets a taste of power, who wants more. She wanted to be the apex predator.
Thank you, little
exactly. You know, it's someone who wants Because that's the thing. If all you want is more, you'll never be filled because you can never have enough.
Okay.
More is never enough, and that's the problem.
You mentioned the writing as well, and the writing you have, as I mentioned, Jeff Johns, who knows Wonder Woman inside out, who's given us fantastic stuff on the Flash TV show, who's done Stargirl, which is amazing. Yet he fails miserably with this. And then you have a guy like David Callahan, who wrote the screenplay, and this guy is known for The Expendables. Need I say more?
Enough said on that one. Am I right, people?
It says it. You know, I'm just
I only saw the
Googled.
first one.
Even though Expendables was way better than this.
Yes. What I'm saying is you're bringing in a guy who did The Expendables, and you've got a man who's worked in comics forever and has done fantastic things, yet he can't get a
movie. He's on
movie.
probation, though. I don't know if we've discussed that before, but he's on probation with DC, so AT&T's not the happiest with him. So
find out I am
that's what it is.
much more often.
I've just Googled Apex Predator, right? And it's come up as
She
whale.
Pop up now.
That's awesome.
A killer whale. So imagine when he says to her, "What do you want to be?" And she says, "An apex predator." Next thing you know, she's like, "What happened there?"
Shamu.
Although to be fair, the cat.
All of a sudden, she's Tillicum trapped in a tank in Washington or wherever. Yeah.
When it comes to wishes. When it comes to wishes, I always remember back to that one episode of The X-Files where he gets a genie.
The gin, and you gotta get a lawyer.
Yeah, and he has to get the wording right, and it's like impossible.
Peace on earth. All right, no people.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's when it comes to wishes, they should always watch that episode and then go, maybe that was a bad.
He wished for a yacht and it like winds up in his front yard. It's like, that's not what I mean.
But but again,
that's how you do it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is an evil stone that wants you to make more wishes to destroy yourself, whereas the genie really just wants you to be stupid so that you die from the wish, and then they can go back to being in their land.
What if it's not even evil? What if the stone is simply like, if you were writing code, you couldn't just say, "I want a beautiful world." You would have to describe pixel by pixel the world you'd have to create. Maybe wishes are the same way. You can't
a
really
legal document.
have a way to describe every molecule in the situation you're trying to describe. There is no way you can ever get it right.
There's always
all we can talk about is what we can observe.
You have to have,
and you can't describe everything you can observe.
You have to have a legal to write your wish. You have to have like party of the first part, abides by addendum C. Yeah.
As an example within this, we see once Max Lord is the one in charge of the wishes, he's the one deciding how messed up your wish is going to be. And
he's also deciding what he takes from your wish.
Exactly.
The stone isn't, I don't think, and Lilith can correct me on this, the crystal isn't something that decides what it's going to take. There's no consciousness to the crystal. But Maxwell Lord has I'm going to grant you your wish, but I'm going to take X, Y, and Z.
Yes, which he says after the fact, which legalistically, I think you have a real argument here. But it's like, wait a minute, that was not in the. You have to present that as up front in the deal.
So make them related in some way so that we can make the jump easily and think, okay, this was a natural reaction to that wish. This is something that would be taken away. Make it some sort of reasonable thing.
No.
Yeah.
So, did anybody go back and look at the story, The Monkey's Paw? Because I did today.
Oh yeah, of course.
They mentioned it a couple of times in the film, didn't
they? And so the way that
the Simpsons episode.
The way that it worked.
That's right.
The way that it worked in the story was the father, at Christmas time, father, mother, and son are together. Adult son has a friend from the army come over and visit and brings this monkey's paw that he's gotten, the shriveled up monkey's paw. And he says, it's evil, horrible. You can get your wishes granted, but it does terrible things, and throws it into the fire. And the father takes it out of the fire and makes a wish that his mortgage will be paid off. The next day, his son is killed, and he gets money from the company in exactly the amount of the mortgage to be paid off. The wife is grief-stricken. She asks for him to ask for the son to come back. He wishes for the son to come back, and there's suddenly a knock at the door, and he realizes that maybe what is supposed to be at the door isn't what he wants to, or what's actually at the door isn't what he wants to see, and wishes for it to go away. And those are the 3 wishes. So, I guess what I'm just trying to say is these wishes are the monkey's paw.
Yeah.
Well,
they are.
Right, but they should have been some relation between getting your wish and that consequence.
And having a consequence.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like Cheetah,
whatever you felt like taking, and it made no sense.
It goes back to what I said about Max Lord. No consequences for Max Lord. None.
No, his health is going.
His health and his kid.
Yeah, because he even said,
Yeah.
he goes, I'm going to keep giving wishes, even if every time I grant a wish, now I'm going to rebuild myself organ by organ.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for Cheetah, it is that her humanity is lost.
Mm-hmm.
So she gives up the thing that made her human. And for Diana, if anything else, you can say that that is the perfect wish, because she gets to have her relationship and she is no longer burdened by her immortality.
Exactly.
I don't think she was ever burdened by her immortality. I didn't get the feeling that she was.
She would have been.
Because she lives among humans. It can't be easy to watch everyone you love die.
Hold on.
Know everyone you ever loved.
Charlie, that whole scene at the beginning where she's fighting crime in the mall tells you everything that she's loving her life.
I think that's a distraction.
Loving it.
Yeah, it's a distraction. It's like
she's loving it, and she is. It's only when she has to order a meal for one. You know what I mean? And we've all been there. Ticket to see a movie. How many tickets for one? And then they go, yeah, okay, right. That's not that I've lived 1,000 lives. I'm thinking,
I know. When that waiter took away the plates, I was like, you could just see like the look on her face where she's like, really?
Look at that.
Wouldn't it be weird if she turned around to that waiter and went, "Excuse me, I didn't give you permission to take that," and he turned around and goes, "Well, you didn't have permission to have it off with my uncle, did you?" or my boyfriend who's got his own place. Yeah, what about that? Maybe the guy had a boyfriend or girlfriend. Why?
Missing from his
Maybe he was saving himself for marriage. Like, I thought about that too.
I was imagine though when his wife comes back and she finds like this hair. Who you been sleeping with? And he's like, no one. Really? I don't believe you. Yeah, I mean, he's going to go to court. I didn't sleep with anyone. Well, DNA says you did, mate.
Yeah.
Well, okay, again, 1984, there wasn't DNA. So,
and the
roll
rest
it back, friend. Roll it back.
Yeah, but divorce was.
Yes. Yeah. But, and then again, it assumes he's married, which he probably isn't because he says the apartment was a mess when he gets there.
All right. We're going along with it. I want to touch on something more. I agree. Like the wishes should have like affected each other. It's like she was losing her powers because of bringing Steve back. But at first, before they explained it,
love makes you weak as a woman. Didn't you get that?
I thought she was losing her powers because Cheetah was gaining them.
That's what was my first thought. I'm like, maybe
that's what I thought.
Her powers
makes you weak, baby.
No, I mean, I pretty much got the idea that it was totally just, it was giving up her immortality to have a real relationship with a human, which is not for nothing a classic story.
Yeah,
the idea of I can't be with you because I'm immortal, because you're going to die, or I can be with you if I give up my immortality, or if I grant you immortality, you're either going to wind up a cricket, or you have to be asleep forever. And like none of those are good.
I disagree with that, Charlie. Disagree with that because in the first film he took that choice himself and he made the ultimate sacrifice. I'm sorry, when you get a character that makes the ultimate sacrifice, don't bring them back for the next film because that just makes that sacrifice.
That's why we don't want
totally
Iron Man.
I know. The idea is that this was a selfish wish. She for whatever might have existed, based on the film we have, I can say that this is meant to be her selfish wish. This is her cheating.
Well, she didn't
even decide to do it.
She didn't know, did she?
She did. Acting like she does not know exactly what she's doing when she makes that wish. It makes you say, "Oh wow, your woman is."
She never said it.
I think that she didn't fully understand the stone. I don't think she did.
He doesn't know
thought it was
happening.
fake. It was,
No.
It was
literally,
literally
they thought it was
wishful
a fake.
thinking. It was wishful thinking.
She
That's
did
what it
not
was.
in even the slightest bit.
Wait,
She
Nick
knew
is trying to
exactly
say
what it
something and I didn't catch it.
No, I was saying it was
no,
literally
no.
It was literally wishful thinking. That's what it
Right.
was. Like for example,
You know,
like,
daydream
like
and
over
wish
here,
And
that's
over
you
here.
do that when
really
you're
wish
holding
for?
a stone that says "Make a wish." You know, if
Yeah,
you
but
say
yeah, but
It's like Mars.
it's like
Mars,
throwing
what
a
did you just
coin
say
in the
there?
fountain. It's like throwing a coin in the fountain. Like in Rome, you go to the Trevi fountain, you throw a coin in, you make a wish, but it's wishful thinking because you
except
know
she's
it's,
a god, and she
she
knows
doesn't-
it.
She doesn't know.
she
She
did not know
knows
it was
she's
gonna
a
happen.
god.
But
She
doesn't
know
knows
it was
gods
gonna
have
happen.
magic powers.
She doesn't know
But
this
at that point, she didn't think that stone was real and
Yeah,
valid.
the answer
Yes, she
to
did because she
knows
knows
it's
it's written in the language of the gods.
If somebody
She didn't
Maz,
until later.
Maz's
Until
turn.
later.
Yeah, okay,
Hold
Mama,
on,
say
one at a time. It's all bleeding in. Go on, Mars.
Okay.
so if somebody came up to her with a magic 8-ball and said, "Hey, is this going to happen?" She would go with it. She would believe it because she's a god and magic.
If it is clearly a magic 8-ball, and she's like, "Yeah, you are clearly the devil." So it was sort of, if Mephisto showed up with a magic 8-ball,
She thought it was.
Did he?
She even
But
said,
did he?
I don't know about.
No.
She told Barbara, I don't know about fake artifacts.
So if I get the Ouija board carpet and run my Roomba, I'm okay.
look, I'm just saying.
You did
you
watch
can
the recent
say she
episode of The
didn't know,
Stand.
but then that just speaks ill of her because she should clearly know better.
And it's a DC movie.
But it
You know,
clearly
it's clearly, she's clearly a being. Freaking, she thought World War I would end because she killed a guy.
Exactly.
Totally.
She's not Eve. So she didn't know this was a magic wishing stone.
But
Yeah,
at the
but
same time,
Charlie-
World War I ended because she killed a guy. She knows magic is real and it has real world consequences.
but there it's
Man, it
it's
must be really
evident.
easy to jam her. Just tell her
It's
it's
all the
magic.
same
Go
complaint.
with
You
it.
guys can say whatever you want. It's all the same complaint that it was in one. If you're not going to criticize one, don't criticize two.
I mean, but we've countered that argument several times by saying
No,
there
you
was
haven't really.
keep it buoyed beyond that. We didn't care. The problem here is we
This
cared
movie was
about the
too long.
issues
We got
because there
people
wasn't
thinking
enough
they're
to,
at home
to pay off.
watching this
They
movie
asked
with
us to
a
pay all the
nitpick.
emotional currency and didn't give us anything in return. Now we feel like, hey, I'm out $5 and give me my money back.
Hey, 20 more minutes is as long as the movie was.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've all got to remember, right? The only reason we are basically criticizing this story is because we were so invested with the characters from the first film that we went into this invested. We wanted this film to be so good. We wanted this legacy to carry on, and then when they don't do it, then you got a reason to complain.
Well, that was your
Let's-
first mistake.
Right, let's just say, right, take away the bits and bobs about the characters. Wrap out the place settings of and distances traveled and all the little stuff that's been going on around it in the film. It's like it's really sloppy, pointing from one bit to another bit to another bit to another bit, and you always get the feeling that the time is like running out. Yeah, she has that. Oh, I can go home and get me armor. Yeah, and then they fly here, fly there, really super quick. It's like, and remember, at one point of the film, they say this is your 4-minute warning, and that takes 8 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Okay.
We're
Clearly
all
she
dead.
has
And plus,
one
when you write,
magic
I've always the thing is when you write a film that's set in a prequel. Let's say when you write a film about a prequel, you've got to remember what's gone after it. If you don't,
Thank you,
then you're going to
Jamie.
trip
Thank you.
yourself
Yeah.
over. Yeah, exactly.
Only
Right?
if you assume that it is. That's the thing. It's like you assume that when she got this, it wasn't like, yeah, we're washing our hands of the Snyder Cut.
Again, the majority of this movie, they should explain it. You shouldn't have to explain it, Charlie.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that this isn't, like I said, this isn't an IKEA bookshelf of a film. This is an IKEA bookshelf of a film. I'm just saying, you know what? If you want to build the film, the instructions are included.
And you have to dumb down this stuff because, I mean, if this year's proved nothing, at least half of this country is stupid. So you have to.
I mean, it's entirely possible that is a strong argument to make. I have faith in the wellspring of humankind. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's DC's best film, but I'm not going to say it's DC's worst film. That was Aquaman.
I don't think it's their worst
Aquaman was
film.
not DC's worst
Right.
movie.
No.
I don't think.
I'm going to go back to what Jamie said, which is we all cared. We all went into this
Yeah.
caring, and we desperately wanted a good.
Like I said,
film.
they're sabotaging the Wonder Woman franchise. Why? I don't
Okay.
know. But if you
That's-
don't believe me, watch this movie.
That's
Because
that's the
she
bad thing
has
about it.
breasts, and Superman does not, and Aquaman does not. That's
but saying
why.
Saying
guess-
that, Dan,
I
right?
guess I
They
would
don't.
say if you
they don't
really
wanna go
care,
down
you
the
be doing
route,
what I'm
do
doing
they?
and trying to fix it.
But why have we not
That's
had
not
a
how
Man
that
and
works at all.
a Man of Steel too? You know what I mean? Why have we not had another Superman film? Surely
Is he
the
still
two
Superman?
main
Henry
icons of
Cavill's
DC.
problematic, and we're
I was
trying to
gonna
How
say,
many
figure it
Batmans
out.
do we need? How many Batman films do we really need
Well, they're
in so many years?
Although
Jesus Christ!
to that, I will say I'm okay with getting rid of the Ben Affleck Batman. I'm excited about the Matt Reeves Batman with Pattinson. I think that was great. The trailer looked great. I think he looked good as Batman. I think the direction they're taking with how dark it is and how he's still new at it sounds really, really fascinating and interesting. And maybe we'll delve deeper into the psychology of Batman in a way that the Joker delved into, what it meant to be that kind of person.
Which that was a great movie.
Amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. And timely.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
So I'm
We live
excited
in a
to see where
society,
this
so
Batman
I
goes.
agree.
Yeah. So we've got loads of Batman films, yet one Superman film from this for the new one.
It doesn't work in the 21st century, apparently. That's
I
what
mean,
AT&T
technically, we
said.
have
'Cause he's a
three
man?
Superman
Is that
films.
it? Because at the moment it's crap to be a man, isn't it? That's what the latest thing, isn't it? And a white guy, you know what I mean? I would say by a white guy, really? You know what I
I
mean?
think you might have hit
Okay,
the nail on
I
the
mean,
head. That's
I'm
why
not
they
gonna-
can't make that movie right now.
We get a ton of
No,
Batman sales for some reason at this point. I mean,
They make terrible casting choices.
half the
without
DC
researching,
comics
and
these
now we're
days have
dealing
something
with
to
it.
do with
End
Batman.
of story. Moving on. Wrap it up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say another 10-15 minutes. This will be as long as the movie. So
okay. Well, you're the one in charge, man. You can wrap it up. You can say final thoughts.
Yeah.
Don't act like we're the ones making it long when you're the MC, man.
I'll tell you what.
So long, Charlie.
If Batman knew exactly what Wonder Woman got up to in 1984, he would find a way to kill her dead. I'll tell you. Yeah, because Batman knows how to kill these people. That's his whole reason of believing. And if he read that, hold on, nuclear war.
Oh, no, he's got a thing for us.
Get rid of that.
Actually,
Is Wonder Woman like the one person he doesn't have a way to kill? I thought there was one person that he couldn't kill.
No, he has fouls on everybody.
Yeah, he has
Okay.
fouls
a
in the one.
yellow
Yeah.
ring, for God's sake.
Have you not played Lego Batman? I got fails on everyone.
All right. All right. Real quick, everyone give a grade. Start with Esther.
Like I said, I'll give it a C. It's a solid film.
See you next
I
week.
enjoy it. I don't have any real major complaints about it the way everyone else does. I think that the complaints I had get answered, or else they're no different than. Well, yeah, of course, by me. Who else is going to answer the questions if I'm not the one doing it? But it's all based on stuff that is hinted at in the film. That's my thing. It's not a failure of a film. It's not. I mean, I might even go C+ if I was being really generous today. It's a solid film for a fun watch. It gives you everything that you're going to want to watch it. And if you're going to be a big jerk about it, well, then maybe you should be watching DC films, man. It's like, go watch freaking Citizen Kane with Mark Maron or something. You know, he doesn't like superhero films either. If you don't want to watch these things, don't watch them. No one's making you. Go watch Soul. That was
That's
good.
a false equivalency. I'm not saying I don't want to watch any superhero films. There's tons of superhero films I do like. That's not a fair argument.
Okay, but I'm giving it a C. So next person.
Lil Hellfire.
On a DCEU scale of Justice League to Shazam, I will give it a B+, but on a real movie scale, it definitely gets a D-. D as in dog.
Ooh. All right.
Like I said, I saw a different movie. The movie you guys saw, the one that we're talking about right now, I am so utterly disappointed, and I can't believe this is happening. This is going on, and Patty Jenkins ain't saying a damn thing. It's messed up.
Contract. All right, Jamie. What did you grade it?
I ain't got a clue what this ABC, because if I did an ABC rating, it'd be C for crap.
Right? A to Z.
Right.
Okay.
Is it all right? What is Z worse and A's good? Is it backwards?
So
A is the best.
F is a failure.
Right. So right.
So it's A, B, C, D, F is the bad.
Right.
Don't ask
okay.
what happened to E. It's a thing.
I'll give it a D maybe, because you need to be a dunce to sort of like understand it really, because it has got some, to be fair, it has got some great pieces. At the beginning of it, I enjoyed the title cards because that little detail of VHS, you know, with the tracking, I thought was great, and that beginning bit I thought was really, really good, but it meant nothing in the end, right? And then the bit in the mall, great, loved it, meant nothing in the end, right? And the whole thing just made nothing. There was drinks. There were too many leaps of logic in this, and far more leaps than I could have done that Wonder Woman did. You know what I mean? So basically, the only reason she flew is because her boyfriend died and told her, you know, you just got to feel the air. You know what I mean? What? It's like a film written by people who have not read the source material, thinking, well, people haven't read the source. You know what I mean? Crap. Sorry, but I ran over a bit around there. Yeah, I give it a D. I'll buy it when it's on cheap. But I look forward to it. Yeah, when it comes out, yeah, I'll you know, it makes me think hope Rogue Squadron's going to be good. Oh my god. But let's see. Let's see what the next one. Let's see what the next one's going to be. Yeah. Move on from me. Yeah.
All right, Ryan.
All right. On a scale of the first Wonder Woman, stop Charlie, stop Lilith, I am giving that a 5 out of 5, and I am giving this like a 1 out of 5. On a scale of I am having Wonder Woman tattooed on my arm for my next tattoo.
Arm. Okay.
If it were, yes, on my arm. If it were this film, if that were the inspiration, I would not be getting that tat. Oh. So, yeah. So sorely disappointed from a 5 to a 1.
All right, Nick, what you think?
Oh wait, you skipped Marnell. Sorry, but you did.
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Had it been 2020, I probably would have given it a 2 or a 4 out of 10. But you know, the Simon Cowell / Russian judge in me tells me you should give this a 4 out of 10. But it's a new year. We're optimistic. We're happy. I'm going to give it a passing grade. It's a 6 out of 10 for me.
Hey.
Wow.
Generous.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I would have said 6. I would have said, if we did the numbers, I would have said a 6.
Oh,
So,
Lilith, you just said 6 out of 9.
Hey-o.
Hello. All right. Little one. Marnell, what should you get?
I'm with Lilith on this one. I gave it a D- because D stands for steaming pile of dung. I am with Diane. I will watch the first Wonder Woman 1,000 times over before I watch this one. The only good things about this movie were I loved seeing the picture of Etta at the very beginning. I loved a little peek at Linda Carter.
Yeah.
And then I loved the jokes surrounding high heels.
The only character growth in the whole movie.
Not animal print.
They are not, but I appreciate a good high heel. I don't remember the platform high heels in the 80s, but I was only 5 in 1984, so maybe they were around, but yeah. So 3 very minor good things about the movie. Other than that, I am happy to never watch it again.
So, of course you love heels. They get you to 5'4", don't they? All right, Mozzie, you're up. What you give it?
It's hard to wrap my head around some sort of a grading system, but the only thing that I can think of that will properly portray how I'm feeling is a quote from Anthony Bourdain. There was an episode where somebody was making him a dish made of iguana, and he was on top of a bridge having this meal with someone, and luckily the person who made it didn't understand English, so he could turn to the camera and be honest, and he said, it's not that this is bad, it's that it's so bad that I want to jump off this bridge while sticking this fork in my eye.
Wowza.
So that's how I feel.
100%.
Well said.
Drink
So
while
is
you're
that
watching this movie, or smoke, no judgments. And I'm telling you, it's a better movie.
Well, the movie we got, Lilith Hellfire, I mean, I guess I'll be generous with a C.
Oh, my sweet son, child. Don't you just love Phil, guys?
As in, did you see all that green screen?
My
Well,
God,
that's
that
a
bit.
DC movie. What do you expect? We've never had good CGI.
Wasn't that, did you not find that really distracting when she was doing that running?
Yeah.
It was like,
I
what's
thought she
happening
did
there?
the Naruto run. That would've been
Yeah,
funny.
unfortunately, Disney owns ILM and Pixar, so all the good studios for FX are kind of held by other people
That's
right
not true.
now.
There are some, but nobody wants to be attached.
Do you know, it was 1 hour 5 minutes from when she wore it first at the beginning to when she wore it in that scene. 1 hour 5 minutes, and not once in both films in a trilogy has anyone called a Wonder Woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a big drop, and especially with the reporter at the beginning, because that was the perfect place for him to say, "Who is this Wonder Woman? Who is this wondrous woman who is saving people's lives?" You know, that would have been awesome. They didn't do it because DC doesn't do fan service.
I beg
They
to
are.
differ. They do. They just don't do it well.
I guess.
No,
You got one guy on Bleeding Cool, and they're like, "Yeah, that must be what everybody wants." Don't listen to Bleeding Cool. Hashtag no offense.
Well, do you know when you look at the reviews online for this film, you can definitely see who were paid to like this film and who are not. Like IGN, I looked to theirs and I was like, what film are they watching? They must be watching
the one that Lilith did.
You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wish I was being paid. I just, like I said,
hey,
the bar is where the bar is, man, and they cleared it. That's all.
Warner's.
It didn't Hermes Conrad it like Aquaman.
I was going to say, Warner's, you could get a good review out of Charlie just with a 6-pack. Come on.
Yo.
This film was so bad that Rob
given bad
Southgate
reviews
saw
many
it
of
twice and refused to come on.
Like, he couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
99% fresh before it came out.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Robert Southgate. Can he like two attempts? He couldn't get through this movie.
Yes, and I actually had several people on my Facebook page today say, "Yep, tried to watch it. Nope, couldn't do it."
And if you look at the record, I did not like Aquaman at all. So
Aquaman was okay.
I didn't mind Aquaman. I didn't like Mantis. I didn't like Mantis.
They took my favorite character and ruined him.
If you're going to put Manta in there and give him a backstory, and you can't have Aquaman just
movie.
kill
Screw
people.
Black Manta.
Well, I don't. They put him in there, so I have to grade it on what they put in the
helmet.
Exactly.
It's not Aquaman that I liked. It's the Jason Momoa movie.
It's kind of a different movie with the sound on, Marnell.
Not really.
Wait, there was sound to that movie?
Not really.
And that's what I'll say is, if nothing else, Diana never condemns anyone to death in this.
Okay, I know that we're not talking about this, but by the way, The Stand, Amber Heard is in the new remake of The Stand, and she's quite good, I think.
We don't do that here, Diana.
And
we don't defend Amber Heard.
And
She's a terrible person.
I don't know if you heard.
She may be a terrible person, but
Single-handedly
she's
ended Johnny Depp's
superb.
career.
Yeah, I
don't do
know.
that here.
I think Johnny Depp's doing okay. I don't think.
But she also plays someone who's terrible.
She plays Nadine.
It's Amber Heard being Amber Heard.
She's got a role,
Well, an actor can be a terrible person. Like, Bill Cosby did horrible things, but you're not going to take away Dr. Huxtable from me.
We still have Felicia Rashad.
Ghost Dad
Always
did
remember
that for me.
Exactly.
Ghost Dad, yeah.
And I just want to say to all of you Star Wars lovers, oh my God, I'm so glad I finally did watch The Mandalorian. It was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Amazing.
If 2020 brought us anything, it's Diane watching The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh my God! My missus filmed me roaring my eyes out with the last episode. I did put it on my Facebook page, I think.
So Cooper Andrews, the guy who plays Jerry on The Walking Dead, tweeted, "Oh my God, I just watched the last 2 episodes and my dog is licking my tears off my face." And I thought, I can't watch it alone. What am I going to do?
I tell you what, wishes do come true. And if I had to take that one back, would never happen.
Dying on the internet. That's how Kevin Smith gets his jobs anymore.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right. Way long. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now.
No, that's fine. No. All right.
It's what we do here. Obviously, nobody listens to Capes. It's what we do here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rob doesn't listen.
There was no swearing in this episode.
Oh, there was.
There was no swearing, but it's about as long as a housewife.
Can I just say, I felt sorry for Nick because he's got your logo over his face. He's like on a wanted poster.
Story of my life, Jamie. Story of my life.
Nick, lean out a bit so we can see it. There you go.
There's that beautiful mug. See, and you're actually centered to the left of the logo, so you actually look okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
See, it was just Phil, just not producing properly.
Leave Galvin alone. He
No, do it one more time. Lilith is
Lilith
perfect.
is
Lilith is perfect because she's the furthest away from it. Yeah. There you go. I don't even notice it.
There you go.
Yeah. So, right. Should we just start again then? Well, let's begin at the beginning of this. I really enjoyed the opening credits. You know what I mean?
That was a hell of a cold opening.
Hit record. All right. I was going to have everyone do their plugs. All right. So since he was here most of the episode, Nick, tell people where they can find you in your podcast.
Okay, deep breath. Here we go. Okay, so any country music lovers out there, I do host the Whiskey and Cigarettes show, which is a country music radio show where we play today's country, traditional country, and everything else in between. For more info about that and where to tune in, you can visit our website. That's whiskeyandcigarettesshow.com. Podcast-wise, I also host Happiness in Darkness, the superhero movie podcast, where we discuss superhero movies from Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image, and more. If you'd like to join me on there and discuss your favorite superhero movie, you can hit me up via email. That's happinessanddarknesshow@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and the Instagram. And also, together with Zan Sprouse and Rachel Friend, I also co-host Gold Standard, the Oscars movie podcast, where we're discussing all the movies that won the Oscar for Best Picture from 1927's Wings to the present day. If you'd like to discuss your favorite Best Picture movie, you can hit us up via email. That's goldstandardoscars@gmail.com. We are on Facebook and the Twitter machine.
And can I just say, everyone, that is the gold standard of knowing your tags.
Suck it, Ray.
Thank you, Jamie. Your check's in the mail.
What the heck? All right. Since Marnell's drunk, Diane, do the plugs for you guys.
Oh my God, that means I have to know, and I'm not nearly as cool as Nick. So we are the Real Housewives of Alaska. That's our newest podcast. We're having a lot of fun with that. We have Biters. Real Housewives actually has a Twitter account that's somewhat active. I am not going to tell you to look for it because it's a jacked up handle. Just search with the name. And best way to communicate with us is on Facebook. Sliding down polls.
We are at facebook.com/biters also in Walking Dead times, but since, that's not going to be back till like February.
Yeah, that's nothing in pandemic time.
And in the meantime, hail Satan.
Oh, still Marnell, why?
Hail Satan. I really like Hooters.
All right, Jamie.
Who is this Satan guy? I don't know. Me. Yeah. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, I've got a Ghostbusters podcast just for you. We are the #1 Yorkshire podcast for Ghostbusters, the Ghost Heads UK podcast at gmail.com. No, that's wrong. Let me restart that. Right? It's Ghost Heads at... See, this is why Nick's better one than mine. Right? It's ghostheadsuk@gmail.com if you want to get in contact with us on that one. I also do a #1 Yorkshire podcast for Star Wars, and that's Radio Free Endor. And we've just done the mammoth 8 episodes of season 2 of The Mandalorian, and you can hear me get quite teary on the last one. It's very good. And that's radiofreeendor@gmail.com. And everything else, well, just Google it.
Jamie, thank you for making us all sound as almost as good as Nick.
No problem.
All right, Moz, do you have any plugs besides working with that bastard down there?
Yeah, I'll let Charlie handle all the plugs for our shows. I'll just give you my email and Facebook. You can find me. You want to argue some more? It's at gmail.com, or find me on Facebook under Moz Manzor. That's MOZZ MANZOOR.
All right, Lilith Hellfire.
And
Do you remember your
guys wanna
plug?
Find me on the interwebs. Find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire, on Instagram at Lilith Hellfire 86, or at Lilith Hellfire 69 on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm 12 when you need me to be 12.
What does 69 mean?
What?
Kidding.
All right.
Just for Capes After Dark.
Lilith and I have started an OnlyFans.
All right.
So have I.
Putting the slime in Slimer.
Whoa.
Nobody tell Rob.
Pants come off next.
Poor Charlie.
All right, Charlie Esser gets.
Hit it, sir.
Wait, Charlie Esser gets to do his plugs. Moz, I don't even have to hit the button tonight. You could do a live thing. All right. All right, Charlie, let it rip.
Well, of course, you can always listen to me and Maz over on Full Stream Ahead, ARG, as well as the Nuff Said podcast coming back soon. ARG. And, of course, if you listen to that or anything else and you want to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, where Maz and Paz wants to do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet DuckTales, a woohoo, the final season, Mondays at 7 when the new episodes come out, at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the two E's in the middle. For what?
For quality.
Bing. All right.
Oh. Thank you, Maz.
Yeah.
All right. Talk about taking a deep breath. All right. If anyone wants to get a hold of any of the Capes Lunatics, you can always email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to find links to everything, the podcast, the social media, the YouTube channel, the upcoming Patreon, merch, any of it, all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support the sponsors, Tweaked Audio.
Get yourself some headphones, kids.
Or Hunt a Killer.
Help Michelle Gray solve a cold case. It's like getting an escape room delivered to your house.
That's right. And use code Southgate for a discount on both of those. And then go pick, for those of you who can read, pick up Pod Life the book. Now in digital and paperback, you have at least 3 authors of that book sitting right here. So, or wait.
And someday there will be an audio version for Marnell.
I own the book and I still haven't read it. I'm in the book and I still haven't read it. I wrote part of the book and I still haven't read it.
So classy. All right. And so go pick up Pod Life the book. And when you're on Amazon, like Lilith is every single second of the day, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this, the many shows, the network, and that, the man who could not make it today, Rob Masterdoom Southgate.
Make it rain.
So
Make it rain.
Too.
Oh, yeah, he loves Make It Rain.
You'd have to watch the film to be a part of the discussion. That was
No, he
too high of
doesn't.
a burden for you to do.
He told me to just use jobs.
Please kick me in the pants. Why did your eye drift over to my box?
And we're the problem children.
Watch out for those weirdos later on the show. Alrighty, anyway. For another week, we have been your Capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics! Finally plural.
Capes and Lunatics.
And the drunkards. I'm Marnell.
I'm out. Like, it's time to end the show.
Like
It's
she's the only
only-
one.
It's only like 3:45 here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Again,
Now we're
it's a
done. Now
Saturday.
Quarter to 1. Quarter to 1 in the morning. I told my wife I'll only be an hour. All of your fault. Yeah.
That's at night.
When Nick says he's an hour, he means an hour. You lot do not mean an hour.